Troopers and grinders, welcome to the Skate Tank MMA podcast with me, Hank the Tank, and the man to my left, the Idaho Skatesman. I have finally gotten my brother twice removed, or is he a second cousin? I don't know. He's finally out of the Hank the Tank bloodline. So now I don't know him shit when I die. That's nice by me. That UFC 30 card was his peak. He'll never recover from that shit. We'll never see that little fucking scouser, that little cunt with bad teeth ever again, mate. What a fucking party suck job. Anyway, now he's gone, and only Hank the Tank rules on top of the MMA world, and he also rules on top of the Rush Hour Tapology tournament. Not the very top, but in terms of my competition, I did pretty well. So I was tied for a 13th place for a UFC 304 picks. And I beat Weedy Gonzalez, which is honestly my favorite accomplishment because Weedy's actually quite good at pick over the last I guess it's not funny. Well, I got the not the fucking head shake of disapproval. And I just barely beat Sean Moody, dude. I'm telling you, man, Sean Moody, he listens to the Skate Tank MMA podcast. He actually listened to our picks and he changed them last minute. He changed
what a fucker.
Yeah, what a fucker.
Oh, well, that's what we're here for. We're here to give you guys our thoughts. Hopefully help you out with some picks.
Friendly competition. Well, I'm glad that it's having a good effect. And then down here is the Idaho Skatesman at a respectable 21st place. He did better than Denial and In the Granite, which is the bare minimum. And yeah. Anyway, how wonderful. What success we've had here at the Skate Tank MMA podcast.
Yeah, I'm happy just going 50-50, And honestly, if you're 50-50, that means you're doing all right. But that Tapology Rush Hour League, man, has some fucking excellent pickers in it, man. Gary getting 10 out of 14 right is just fucking crazy. God mode.
Look at this. I was up by just 90 points, 95 points over Sean Moody. And basically, you need to be up by 80 points to win. So I just barely clawed my way to first place. But damn, man, he got 7 picks, and I think I got 8. So that was a close-ass competition, man. But I did pretty well. I went with my gut in certain places, and I think that paid off. So.
Yeah. And by the way, what's up, Sean? What's up, Vulcan? Good to see you in here, my friend. I think this is the first time you've been to one of our post-fight shows. So. Juice Man, my man, he says, what a good outcome. Molly lost. When she loses, it's like I'm the happiest person. Nothing can get me upset for the next upcoming week. God bless America. Well, she lost to Brazilian.
So. Brazil.
Me and Juice Man almost got our perfect outcome. We got it 50-50 because, Patty had one of his best performances of his career. But nonetheless, Molly did lose. CST, what is up, bro? Good to see you. Thank you for your continued support. Everyone give CST a follow on Twitter.
Here's the thing, man. Patty the Batty, he had a guru interview. And these guys who would do MMA guru interviews, they're 2 for 2. And no, they're 3 for 3 because Drickus had an interview with Guru as well. So basically, if Guru interviews you, you're basically going to win.
He says, told you Bilal and Mokaev win. Well, did Mokaev really win, though? I mean,
he didn't win at life. That's for sure.
Molly lost. What a beautiful day. You guys and Isha maybe change some because I didn't know shit about him, but Bilal Muhammad. Yeah. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. About to go. Bruna.
Yeah. That's what I told him. I literally, he was like, dude, I could have gotten that Brazil pick, and I literally replied to him, shoulda, woulda, coulda, Sean.
Yeah. Patty's win was actually impressive, not going to lie. Don't like him, but that was good. 100%. Yeah, got to give the guys props. So, yeah, I mean, what were your overall thoughts on the UFC card? And I guess give us your breakdown of the UFC and then, the weekend in general.
Yeah, in terms of the UFC card, it was a roller coaster. It was literally the definition of a very simple roller coaster. Up, up, up. Oh God. I'm in hell. I'm in Dante's Inferno. And then I'm at the top. Oh yes, Tommy. Bilal wins. So it was just up, down. But honestly, Bilal had a really good performance and impressed me. So I can't even say that was a bad fight because I was just so shocked that it happened. It almost reminded me of Usman when he took on Woodley, where we just expected him to have a really close competitive contest at worst, and then he just absolutely dominates his opponent over 5 rounds. So good stuff from Bilal. I don't think he has a very high ceiling as a champion, I'm sorry to say. He reminds me of like a Sean Strickland type where, wow, that was a really good performance. But Oh, there's Shavkat. Oh, there's
Yeah,
Jack.
and especially with just the way welterweight's been looking. I mean, not just Shavkat, but like some of the other guys coming up in the welterweight division.
Yeah, but I honestly think somebody needed to beat Leon Edwards, in my opinion. I didn't want it to be Bilal, but I needed somebody to beat Leon because I don't know, just his fights have sort of. I mean, ever since Usman 3, I just haven't really enjoyed.
And you know the thing about just champions in general is once somebody becomes a champion, you get like these mass of people that just cling to him and are like, no, they're unbeatable. They're the champion, you know. So I saw a lot of people just like, dude, Leon, he's gonna crush him. You know, fucking Bilal has no chance. And by the way, what's up? No Chill. He says Kop Mokaev on the main card. Yeah, that was a pretty bad.
Thank God. Thank God it wasn't
in the preview show. 100%. Yeah. And good to see you in here, though, my friend. He says, yeah, I was super high at the bottom and collapsed. Hank kept the points on the main card. Yeah. No Chill. What's up? Sean the Leopard. Hey, we got a Spitfire Molly back to the bottom. We're trying to will it into existence, but
who are the 5 greatest rappers of all time? Dylan, and Dylan, because he spits hot fire.
But as far as the weekend and my thoughts on the UFC, I give the card a 5 out of 10. There was some highs, especially with the top 3 fights, and really in the minds of the casual fan, that's all that really matters. You know, people who actually are purchasing the pay-per-views and stuff. But as far as the card in general, I just thought it was pretty bad all around. I mean, mid at best. Super Rizin blew the doors off of the UFC this weekend.
Yeah,
and not only that, Derek Chisora versus Joyce was a fantastic fight. Karate Combat sucked. We did the whole thing, but the influencer fights were actually better somehow.
There you go. I mean, that's the state of the combat
sports. Removed from the UFC rankings eligibility. Yeah.
Wow.
We'll talk a little more about that.
So Elliot Parsons decision. Mokaev Kop, horrible fight, decision. Hadley beats Loughran, decision. Brazil beats McCann, decision. Wood somehow doesn't finish Pineda despite wobbling him like 7 times.
Yeah, so out of the 14 fights in the card, there was 2 KOs, 3 subs, and 9 decisions. So, 8 favorites and 5 underdogs won. And this is actually the first time that the UFC went to Manchester since Bisping fought Henderson.
Wow.
Which I don't think they're going to go back anytime soon, to be fair. No Chill has a point that I don't quite understand. He says, unironically right, if JDM can barely out-wrestle Basil Hafez, what is Bilal going to do to him?
Here's the thing. He was grappled a little bit by Burns, and then he got out and knocked him right the fuck out. So it seems to me like JDM's getting a little better in terms of the takedown defense and keeping it on the feet and doing work.
Yeah, I'm just not sure like the point he's trying to make here, but he
might have said something and forgot about it.
I still think that that's a good fight. And by the way, what is up, Matula?
What did we learn? We learned that you don't hold a card in Manchester.
I still don't get it. He says Bilal wrestling over bums?
Over Burns, he said. He said is better than Burns.
100%. But I would say a submission threat. Burns is definitely more dangerous. Obviously, he's an ADCC champion. The point is accept your new king and remember the name. Okay, gotcha.
Mojo was literally asking me for Fent in the Discord because he had to cope over Leon Edwards losing to Bilal Muhammad. Well, and I exchanged it for like a Men in Black mind erase, and he gave that.
That's a much better because drugs are bad. Okay. No 24-year-old fighters can improve and come into their own. Sure, and especially at a division like welterweight, but it's been proven that no champion has ever defended a title past a certain age under 170. So.
Glover Chisora was able to.
Yeah, but I just said under 170. That was a light heavyweight title defense. So anyway, so we're gonna get straight into this. Go over our picks here.
Gotta go over my locks that I had for the weekend.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Get your screen up there, and I'll read some more comments here. No Chill's trolling you. Bilal fucking Muhammad, Chi-Town represent. Chi-Town or Gaza? I'm not sure.
I think he
Bilal throwing combinations that can move an opponent. I burned my yarmulke. and put on
Jesus
my Perka.
Christ. Hey,
All
that's a
right.
turn right there.
Ball been out. Healing, and he
Jesus
fights smart.
Christ almighty.
Lock it down. Yeah, Hank the Tank is just not having a good time
So
over that
fucking
ball.
annoying, dude.
Let's go over the locks, though.
Anyway, the son of Prince Nassim Hamed got it done exactly as I said he would by decision over 4 rounds. He looked slick in there. He looked fast. Vichikov looked absolutely slow and like he's looked against his last 10 opponents who, he's absolutely washed and he's lost to on purpose as a layup fight. And that's exactly what happened. So we got the new Nico Ali Walsh here, man. He's going to be a star just like his pops. That happened. And then do you want me to move on to Rizin's, my pick for Rizin? Or do you want to just go over that whole card?
I think we should just go over the whole card later.
But, well, that was my one big lock for Saturday, and it worked perfectly. But maybe we could go over the boxing card as well, or the main event.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to get that out of the way.
All right, hold on. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Joyce versus Chisora. How far do you want me to go down?
Go to your lock, and then I did watch a few of these fights, but honestly, I was really just there for the main event. And I think that the K1 World Grand Prix was going on at the same time as this, which, by the way, was an excellent card. Oh my gosh, was that just a banger of a card? I'll kind of mention who won that.
DYO. I mean, this was sort of a UK sweep for a lot of this stuff. Raven Chapman defended her crappy title. Hamed wins.
Aluminum belt.
Barney Smith defends a featherweight title. Again, silver and gold. Moses Itama, which I actually care about, defended his WBO Intercontinental Heavyweight title against.
Yeah, he fought one of those flatfish that like bury themselves in the sand to catch their prey.
Oh yeah. I saw it in SpongeBob. Yeah. It was the ice cream lady, right?
No. It was Flats. The guy who tried to beat up
Flats the flounder. Yeah.
Yes. He was like a flounder. He fought a flounder.
I mean it. He wants to beat me up. What?
Yeah, and that's who Moses Ituma beat. So yeah, good for him beating up SpongeBob's bully.
There will be no bullying in this classroom. Hey SpongeBob, I used your name. It was all a big misunderstanding. It means he wants to be your friend and even pal around on Sundays. Anyway, Dennis McCann defended his EBU. What the fuck is that?
Which that was actually a pretty damn good strap. EBU is like English, or I don't know. It's like some English title. No one cares.
Dad, what are you doing? Oh, nothing, son. What did I tell you about talking to strangers? Now he's going to kick my butt. Ah! Then we had Ryan Garner defending his WBC International Super Featherweight title, blah, 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 against Archie Sharp. You watch this?
Yeah, it was another really good fight. I think Sharp just kind of got – he was putting up a good fight until the later rounds. So,
all right, nice. And then finally, the main event, Derek Chisora beats up Joe Joyce to win 10 rounds, and he doesn't get a belt, but he goes up the rankings. And exciting scrap, according to Skatesman. I heard about this.
Did you not watch the fight?
No, I was busy preparing for UFC 304.
Sure. So it was an excellent fight. But really, it was like good sex with an ugly girl is how I described it.
Wow.
It was a really, really sloppy heavyweight affair. Joe Joyce, shout out to Cool Breeze, and I believe one other person predicted the fight correctly. They said that Chisora by lucky KO, which wasn't exactly what happened, but he did knock down Joe Joyce in the 8th round or the 9th round. And then they just had a straight up brawl. It was so back and forth. I mean, Joyce looked really bad early on, and he could not see the left hand of Chisora coming. He just could not see it. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking. But Chisora had his hands relatively low, and Joyce had his right hand relatively low. So both men were hurting each other. Chisora actually won majority of the rounds, but then Joyce kind of won all the middle rounds. And then I was thinking Joyce would kind of win the decision, which is what I predicted to happen. But then the knockdown really changed everything. And Chisora was just, both men were actually completely gassed by the end of this contest. But man, Derek Chisora, a guy who's fought Usyk, a guy who's fought AJ. I mean, he's fought everybody in British boxing, and beating the former, I think Joyce was a gold medalist or silver. I mean, everyone really thought he was on his way out, which he totally is, because he just gets gassed and he just brawls. But one more good, just fantastic performance, and Chisora deserves his respect. On the other side, Joyce, man, losing 3 in a row now. 2 to Zhang, 1 to Chisora, of all people. Not a good look at the heavyweight division. I don't really think he's going to be able to bounce back unless it's against more cans on regional, like club level UK boxing. So
that's a new low. Yikes. Well, it sort of reminded me of Garcia versus Sungwoo Choi, where he had his guard up, but the left hand just kept coming through, and he just could not see it for the love of God. And he got hit like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah,
bro. Sometimes guys just have those holes in their defense.
I cannot find K1's website, which is super fitting for K1. But God, I want to show the guy. What's his fucking name? His name is Reese. He finished everybody. Got all knockouts. Reese Brundell. Let me see if I can show him. Brundell. And the sad part about this event was that it was in Italy. There was no way to watch the fight unless it was on an Italian pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's just dumb. That's just really stupid for K1 to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, K1's back. It needs to be back. Oh, Matua knows about Reese. Hell yeah. Yeah, an English guy winning the K1 World Grand Prix at heavyweight. And like I said, heavyweight kickboxing is back, despite what you may think about Glory, because, Glory has kind of been, especially in the heavyweight division, with the protection of Rico Verhoeven, just falling off a cliff. It sucks, but what are you going to do, man? This is what they want to do. They want to protect Rico. So, yeah, I can't even find the promotion. But either way, shout out to Reese Brundell. I'd like to see him versus Lucy. I think would be a great fight. Lucy is the guy who won the actual K1 World Grand Prix finals last year or earlier this year. So be a fantastic fight. And they need more of these K1 World Grand Prix to get the sport just exciting again.
Yeah. Well, we need some good K1 shows. They're really fun to watch.
Oh, they don't have a site. Oh, well, fantastic.
Love
Italy was excellent environment. Bummer it wasn't televised, only in Italian. Yeah, it was in this weird outdoor venue that had some crazy old Italian building behind it. It was cool atmosphere, and there was there was a lot of knockouts, so it was a fantastic event. Anytime K1's on, I'm definitely tuning in. So.
Only as expected from K1. Almost as fun as Rizin in terms of all those finishes and action-packed cards. And then
it's like a video game, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to move on to the UFC 304 card?
Yep, we'll get right into our picks. So, the first fight of the night was Shauna Bannon versus Elise Ardeline. This fight was terrible. Terrible. Shauna Bannon wins, but barely. She gets controlled by Elise. All her strikes are pitter-patter. She has nice kicks. I'll give her that. I think that she was actually on the Irish karate team at one point in her life. I think her dad and her brother are also karate nerds. Shout out to MVP and Raymond Daniels. But she won the fight basically by throwing tiny 1-2s. I think that a case could have been made for Ardeline winning a round, which is hilarious because she's a TikToker influencer, and that's the only reason she got this fight. The best part about this fight was when our Elise would take down Shauna Bannon, and you could get a nice view. But other than that,
Good as Jillian Robertson.
I picked Shauna Bannon to win this. I was sweating it out though because she is just bad. She is really bad, and she'll be a future fade of me.
Absolutely,
you heard it here first.
Yeah. With Shauna Bannon, she had bad grappling, and when she was in the pocket, she was getting pieced up by Alice Arderling. Like, she did not want the smoke. Like, the most she could get off at first was just little kicks to the knee or kicks to the body. And then as soon as she got within like 5 feet of Alice Arderling, bam, she was getting hit with a counter punch for everything she threw. And for that reason, I think Arderling actually won the first round. And then in the second round, she started to implement what I like to call the Juliana Pena technique, which is just rushing forward. You know, I think the entire MMA community made fun of Juliana Pena for rushing forward against Amanda Nunes and getting clocked by Nunes every time she came in. But there's a reason why she had that technique going into that fight, because if it wasn't Amanda Nunes, like, other women just seem to have a problem with women just coming in forward, because it's just hard for them to like counter really quickly, or they don't know where the punches are coming from. So it actually seems like sort of a standard technique for some women's strikers, and Bannon was able to execute it pretty much perfectly in the second round and third round. Like, there was no moment where she rushed forward and got hit by Arderling.
Yeah.
She came in and hit her with like 1, 2, 3 shots. So if you're outside like the top 5, like, that's a decent technique to use if you think that you're a better striker. And I think Bannon was not at first. Arderling actually had some sting in her shots despite being inactive and gone forever. But Bannon, she found the key to victory, and maybe the coaches drilled that into her. So she switched up her game towards the end, and that's what won her the fight. But this was pretty rotten overall.
100%. Jared Dane says, I made it all the way through Rizin. I was a rock star. I almost did. I fell asleep during the Manny fight, woke up after, and decided to call it a day. So.
I've stayed up until 6, and sometimes I've had no sleep at all. So I'm used to it.
Few smoking some rubber legs today. Shocking Luke Thomas wearing a dress on stream after the fight. Yeah, that didn't happen, Michael Bisping. I think it's because you have one eye, but shout out to you, my friend.
Yeah, the pants look like skirts.
The next fight was Mick Parkin defeating Lucas Brzeski.
Round
1. I said that round 3 was my safe pick. I said round 2 was possible, and it was more than possible. It's actually what happened. Mick Parkin absolutely just blew the doors off of poor old Lucas the Can Brzeski, and this was not close at any point. I don't know why. Like I said in the preview show that like Brzeski is terrible. He's really, really bad. And that was proven here. And Mick Parkin continues his undefeated streak, moving to 10-0, and finally got a nice knockout. What was your breakdown of the fight?
So I did not expect Parkin to be that good a striker against Brzeski. I thought it would treat this like Walter Walker and see, so Walter Walker was able to take him down. It was just the lack of offense that lost him the fight against Brzeski. So when I shoot the takedowns, I'm better at them, so I'll be on top and I'll dominate this. But Mick Parkin, man, he beat up Mohammed Usman, and I think he's actually starting to get a little more confident in his striking now. Like, and that's definitely a good approach to take, because if you want to be a threat in the heavyweight division, you have to know how to strike. I mean, Tom Aspinall had a good route. Like, he was able to take down Volkov and get the straight arm lock on him. So, you know, the top heavyweights can have a good takedown game, of course, but you have to have power on the feet. You have to get some knockouts on the feet to, like, be considered a threat as well as a name in the heavyweight division, in my opinion. You don't want to fucking end up like a Sergey Spivak or a Jailton Almeida. So Mick Parkin's working on his striking, and it's definitely paying off. I'm glad he has easy practice right now in Brzeski, so he can just improve it when he's in an actual fight, because then I think he'll be way more confident in the striking going into future fights. And he looked the part, man. What was it that sound down Brzeski? Wasn't it like a right hand that smacked him and down he went? He had like a 3-piece combo, and then the last one absolutely just put him out. And the UK crowd fucking popped. I'm glad that they were able to get a KO early so that you could actually hear the energy of UK. But to be honest, like, I thought the UK card would just get completely washed out and exhausted over time. Dude, I shouldn't have underrated the UK crowd, because when Patty won, when Tom Aspinall won, I could just hear the building fucking shake from just how excited. It's funny, like, when it's UK or it's French crowds, you hear like one word being said by like all of them. So like Tom Aspinall won, and they're like, yeah! I heard every single person yell, yeah! So that, I mean, UK crowd and French crowd are the fucking best. So they went crazy for this one. I'm happy for Mick Parkin because I think he's a great heavyweight prospect, and I love to see him improve and improve. So glad
Yeah,
he
I think
in an easy fashion.
I think one thing we overlooked is that he was training with Tom Aspinall for this fight for the Curtis Blades match. And I think we underrated how bad Lucas Brzeski was, because holy crap, is this guy terrible. By the way, what's up, AJ? Says, guy knocked the fuck out. His signature catchphrase.
Yeah, and it worked this time.
Dane says, who won our tap league? It was Gary.
It was Banjo Sandwich.
And we went over that at the beginning of the show.
Rip Degenerate.
Michael Bisbing says, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. It's only a matter of time before tortilla head turns into a fried egg omelet. All right.
Woo! I'm going to get my mama a house.
So the next fight was Sam Patterson defeating Kiefer Crosby via very, very fast submission. Again, the Idaho Skatesman. His safe third round submission pick does not hit. It was a just super fast, dominant arm triangle submission that he just laid on poor old Mr. Kiefer Crosby here, who got knocked out and subbed in Bellator and then went on the regional scene and then got a short notice call up to the UFC. Kiefer Crosby was a little bit too confident coming into this one, and Sam Patterson was on fire. Absolutely dusted this poor fucking guy who is actually a pretty old welterweight. I think he's like over 35. Don't know why he's in the UFC, but actually I do know why. It's to give guys like Sam Patterson quick submission wins in their hometown stage. So
yep. Fuck those Irishmen, I tell you. I called this one by first round submission, baby, and I hit it because I just saw how Patterson looked in his last fight. Like, he just had really quick striking. He was taller. I felt like he'd have a good reach advantage. And then once it got to the ground, I was just going to assume that Patterson was going to get Crosby to the ground at some point. Then it would be over with the submission because he's able to latch in the guillotine or other submissions really quickly. And for the most part, I think Patterson did better on the feet against Kiefer Crosby. He used his long arms to his advantage. And then when Crosby held him up against the cage and it got reversed into a takedown, that's when Patterson did his thing, his speciality. And he locked that arm triangle in quick. A bunch of fighters have been taking my advice, and now when they get a guy down, they almost immediately try to get both legs to the other side. And so that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, and he had him both on the other side, and then he went back to guard.
Yeah,
and going back to the other side is what actually got him to finish. So
yeah, exactly. He had to get a better angle for it. And it's just strange because people have different like arm widths and different like amounts of muscle on the arm. So sometimes you got the perfect shape to get a choke in, and then other times it's like too thin, and so you got to find a better angle. So he was able to get it though. In very impressive work from Sam Patterson. Now I can't wait to see him on the next UK card or another card before that because I it's fun to watch him at the very least. He might not have a very high talent threshold. We've seen him get chinned, but he's definitely fun to watch, especially on the ground.
100%. The next fight was Marcin Prachnio losing to Modestas Bukauskas by submission in the third round. Do you know what the odds were for Modestas Bukauskas to get a submission in the third round?
Was it like plus 3,000?
Plus 4,500. Yeah, insane. Modestas looked great. It was a pretty back and forth fight. In the second round, there was a pretty hairy moment where he had rocked Marcin Prachnio, and then Prachnio threw this crazy question mark kick, hitting Modestas in the head. He wobbled him, but then Marcin didn't really have the finishing ability. I thought Marcin would be the guy with more tools in the toolbox. Turns out that was totally incorrect. He was not able to get off from bottom. Really, that's what lost him this fight was just the fact that he could strike with Modestas, but he could not hang with him on the ground. And by the third round, that came to a head, and I think it was an arm triangle as well, wasn't it?
Yeah,
another arm triangle. Modestas
base submission.
Gets the win, and you love to see it because this guy was a pretty heavy underdog, and he's not from Manchester, but he certainly said that he was.
Wink, wink.
Can't wait. love getting a win in my hometown. It's like, I think he's from like Lithuania or some shit. But anyway, great win for him. And yeah, man, definitely a guy to look out for in the light heavyweight division, which is a trash division.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, it's just strange because I expected Prachnio to have the better of Bukauskas in the first round, since usually Prachnio's the one who gets off more strikes at the start and has more energy. Because Bukauskas has historically over the last like 3 or 4 fights has seemed more tentative at first and is fine with getting a decision win and just having the better little shots that he throws out over time. But dude, it was the exact opposite. Prachnio was throwing leg kicks, throwing body kicks at range, like couldn't find a 1-2 to save his life. And then whenever Bukauskas hit him with the 1-2, oh my God, he's wobbled. Oh, he's all over the place. I didn't expect Bukauskas to have the power of the two of these guys going into this fight. That's my mistake. Sometimes these things are hard to predict. I've never seen that much power from Bukauskas, but we saw it tonight. You know, maybe he was motivated by wanting to be winning his hometown crowd. And Prachnio, by the second round, he looked a little exhausted. The thing is, Prachnio was good at moving around and good at getting the leg kicks, but once he was against the fence, he might as well be like a living corpse. He's just standing there, like glued to the fucking fence, sort of like Leon Edwards in their fight. But he just stood there, and then Bukauskas was hitting him with left hands, right hands, left hands, and wobbling him. He got very lucky. He hit that question mark kick when he just got wobbled.
That was sick.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That made this was actually a really good fight from start. Yeah. In my opinion, lots of action back and forth, hard to predict, which is anger-inducing for me. But for anyone who wasn't picking, this was a great fight. And Prachnio hit that beautiful kick, saved him from getting knocked out, in my opinion. And I think it just barely won him the second round. So in my opinion, we were tied going into the third round. And then the most aggravating thing happened for me on this card, where Prachnio hit him over and over and over and over again with big shots, like. Every single shot was one that fucking stumbled him more and more, and somehow he could not put him down. And Bukauskas hit the takedown from the momentum of Prachnio's speed, and it got him on top. And then he just locked in the arm triangle, easy as pie. So I went from like the highest to highest to the lowest to lows in like 20 seconds, and that was quite annoying. But what a freaking fight, and good for Bukauskas.
Yeah, and I don't think Prachnio is like done. I think he still gets another win or so. But Bukauskas was just like, he was a man determined, sort of like Bilal.
But I'm sort of amazed he had as many comebacks as from Prachnio. Really impressive.
The next fight was Oban Elliott defeating Pressure Parsons via decision. This was a damn good fight, despite what a lot of people were saying. Really, it was back and forth, but Oban just kind of got the better of the grappling, something I really haven't seen from him. And he really held his own on the feet. I thought that it was like 1-1 maybe heading into the third, but honestly, I think that the boxing was going. I think Chisora versus Joyce was on at the same time as this, so I didn't watch it super closely. But Oban Elliott, shout out to him, man. He totally deserved that. Yeah, that win against Walter Walker didn't really like inspire me to really go for him. I thought Preston had some better and more impressive wins up to this point, but Oban Elliott, man, that guy. And by the way, Oban Elliott, damn good mic work too.
For
this
sure.
Guy's gonna go places at light heavyweight, which is a trash division.
Welterweight.
Welterweight, which is also a no, actually, welterweight.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. He's gonna have a tough time with some of the guys up higher.
Mid division. With this fight, again, it was another case of fucking bizarro world where all of a sudden Oban Elliott is the one pressuring Pressure Parsons, picking a pipe of pickled peppers. And, you know, Preston Parsons, he kept shooting takedowns even when they were perfect. He had like some perfect entries, and he could not, for the love of God, get Oban Elliott down once. I think he got him down once, like at the end of the second round. Briefly, and for like 20 seconds, and by then it was already too late, of course. And it's just weird because Preston Parsons was smaller than Oban Elliott, so he was like ducking his whole head down or rushing forward with punches, and some of them landed. You could actually sort of argue that Preston Parsons did win the third round, since I'd argue he had better striking than Oban Elliott towards the end of the fight. But I think it's just weird. You can make an argument that this was a closer fight than it was, is all I'm going to say. But Oban Elliott was the greatest work he did in this fight was getting stuff in the takedowns and reversing them. and getting Parsons on his back, because I did not expect him to be a fantastic grappler like Sean Brady, but that's what he was. And his striking was solid enough. We know that Oban Elliott's striking can be a little bit gun shy sometimes, but he did enough to win, in my opinion. But Preston Parsons, I think he just shat the bed. And it's not even entirely his fault. It's just that Elliott fucking trained how to stuff those takedowns super, super well. It was like fucking Vinicius Oliveira versus Ricky Simone. He just could not get him down for the most part. So good for Elliott. What a great training camp he probably had. Trained perfectly for this fight. And then beat Preston Parsons. Was it? I think it was a unanimous decision, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't a split. Yeah. And then had a fantastic post-fight promo. So best fight of Elliott's career in the UFC, best work he's had as a general like athlete and media figure. So Elliott's just going up, man. He's doing really well in life. And props to him. I like Oban Elliott.
Yeah, and so does Ariel Helwani. And by the way, what's up, Bad
What's good, lads? Hey,
the next fight. Woo! This was talked about well after this fight was over. Muhammad Mokaev beats Manel Kape by decision. One thing I didn't count on was just, I mean, well, we got to talk about how tentative both of these two were in the first round. I mean, holy shit.
Yeah. So bad.
They did, Manel Kape especially did basically nothing in the first round. Mokaev just landed some kicks. I think that Mokaev had landed a good strike at the end of the first round, and we're like, oh, that means Mokaev wins the round. And I'm like, no. He can't do nothing for 4.5 minutes and then throw one good strike and then you win the round. Like, I do understand damage over everything else, but it's like, dude, Mokaev was piecing up his legs. Again, the first round was terrible. Second round,
the majority was 29-28. I'm pretty sure though on the
and I think one actually did give it 30-27.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here we go. We got Muhammad, truly pathetic performance. All that dust kicked up before the fight, and then they shut the bed once it's on. Yeah, like I said, Muhammad Mokaev, he will fight any man, anywhere, anytime, except in the cage on the specified time on his contract. That's the only place he won't fight you. But again, Mokaev, just the guy moving more and throwing more, despite not landing a lot. Just the more volume and the grappling aspect as well. Yeah, I mean, Mokaev proved why he is one of the top, 10 flyweights in the world. Stays undefeated. But Manel Kape, dude, I mean, geez. Actually, we got to talk about what happened in the second round. I totally forgot. There was a moment where some kicks were being thrown, and Mokaev bent down to like fix his toe, which looked like it had popped out of place. And that really changed the fight for a lot of people. And shout out to Manel for just being a gangster and just like keeping up with the fight. Honestly though, like I think if that wouldn't have happened, I don't think that the fight changes too much because Manel Kape, man, he's
just throwing nothing.
Exactly. He's got fucking fast. I mean, he's got incredibly fast hand speed. He's a well-rounded fighter, but oh my gosh, dude.
Honestly, I don't think Manel Kape hit Mokaev in the head once. All the shots were the freaking body, and maybe there was one or two in the third round, but it was almost all body shots. He just could not find his range.
Yeah, actually, it would be curious to pull up ESPN's striking numbers on this.
Degenerate Dane made another PFL joke.
What did he say?
For Manel, he said, send Manel's ass to PFL Elator too.
Well, we'll talk about that. Give us your breakdown of the fight.
Yeah, really embarrassing stuff from Manel Kape. Embarrassing stuff from the both of them, if I'm being honest. Yeah, Kape had a nice 1-2 towards the end of the first round. And I'm now engaged with Skatesman's opinion. It doesn't really win you the round. I'm counting the 11 or 12 strikes that Mokaev.
I understand live. You go and hey, you know what? That's Mokaev's round, and we picked him. But
I mean, some of the judges went that way, so it's an understandable opinion. And then the second and third rounds, I didn't even know that Kape broke his toe until round 3. I didn't even know. So I was just angry at Kape for fucking fumbling the bag. He was really good at the takedown defense.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's really good at the grappling. And whenever Mokaev shot the takedown. Cap completely stuffed it, pushed him down, and went away. And if only he had actually applied that kind of mindset to the striking, he could have actually won this thing. But Cap it might be a combination of the broken toe and just him being, because here's the thing, we talked about how Bobby Green like keeps his hands low and that would prevent him from getting taken down. Maybe this was a kind of thing for Cap where as long as I don't throw too much or swing forward too often, he won't take me down. But that's a terrible approach to take when you're already good at grappling defense, so he just should have been more aggressive. I think he could have won this fight, but he just had no passion there, man. And that applied to like after the fight too. Both men were just fucking hugging and kissing and like they were the best of friends for the past like 10 years of their life when they just fucking hated each other's guts. And now they're doing like a fucking Bryce Mitchell, Dan Ige shit show. That was fucking infuriating to watch. The fact that they hugged afterwards.
I have the stats up here. Total strikes, 47 on the side of Menel Cap, to 34, and 102 attempted by Mokaev. Significant strikes also favors Mokaev. Menel Cap targeting basically the head the entire fight. You see that Mokaev mixed it up. He targeted to the body almost half of his strikes, and the legs a lot, only landing 6 leg kicks. 2 minutes of control, almost a full round. 3 takedown attempts landed out of 8, and no sub attempts. So yeah, this fight, I mean, that should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah,
I think that Bilal Muhammad had like attempted 100 strikes by like the 3rd round, I think he landed 100 strikes.
Yeah, he was piecing up Leon Edwards. He was the better striker of the two.
So yeah, I mean the real crux of this fight and the discussion around it is what happened afterwards. Dana White going kind of, I mean, I think he actually let he let Mokaev off easy. To tell you the truth, he didn't go full scorched earth on him. He just said, hey, we're not going to re-sign him. His contract is expired. And he said PFL is going to get a new signing. But the problem with that is PFL doesn't actually have a flyweight division. Neither does Bellator. And neither does ONE. So really his only option is to go fight over in Rizin, which I don't think he will do. And also like the knee thing, I think probably wouldn't help him a lot. Some people were saying ACA has a good flyweight.
Oh, it fit right in there.
Well, the problem is he left that area of the world on purpose to go to England.
Oh, they'd fucking kill him if he came
back.
Well,
that's what I'm trying to say is it's like, dude, I mean, here's a guy who famously hasn't fought in Russia or been affiliated with he who shall not be named over who runs ACA and is the dictator of dictator. I mean, he's the guy who runs.
I love him. Yeah.
He's the guy who runs fucking Chechnya. But so I don't see that happening. Yeah. I think. I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, I know that you don't like Mokaev. I think it's a bad decision to cut Mokaev, especially because the UFC has the premier flyweight division in mixed martial arts. I think that having a top 10 flyweight on the roster is a good thing. But I also understand that like the guy doesn't sell anything. He's knocking off all your contenders. They wanted Menel Cap to win this fight. He's getting
in trouble like outside.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah, that's a big part of it too. All the pre-fight antics. It's kind of the sneaky shit that he did.
Dana hates that shit since Holloway and Chimaev, so that's a big no-no.
But yeah, I mean, I could see him getting some wins in the regional and coming back. He's a really young guy. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, he'll probably come back, but any region will probably take him. And well, obviously not Russia, but some regionals will take him, and then he'll find his way back. They often do. Imagine Mokaev on The Ultimate Fighter. That'd be so Hey, look, a comment from Svensson.
Wow. From who?
Svensson.
He says, should Bilal be cut? We'll talk about that later, but no.
Oh, my God. That's just a funny joke. Anyway, can you imagine them cutting somebody as the champion? Just fucking, hey, fuck Tyron Woodley. That'll be you next. Well, I mean, BJ Penn left for Japan, didn't he?
Yeah, but they didn't cut him.
Right.
Same with Randy Couture and even Frank Shamrock. I don't think they've ever actually cut a champion.
Yeah, I think it'd be dumb of them too. They did definitely cut Tony Ferguson out of the picture after a couple fights.
Yeah. I was gonna say Francis, but no, he chose the leave as well.
Pre-fight antics are silly. I wonder if that hotel declines to host fighters ever.
Give us your thoughts on Mokaev being cut, or not re-signing, not choosing not to re-sign him.
I don't know. It's just. I don't think it's right in terms of like whether that's good for the sport. Definitely not really that great for the sport. Not good for the flyweight division. But like I said before we started streaming, I couldn't give two shits about the flyweight division at this point. I don't give a fuck about their champion. Steve Erceg is still at number fucking 9 in the world. And so I don't know, man. It just seems like a fucking trash division to me that's run like middleweight under Israel Adesanya. So honestly, I just couldn't care less. But I wish Mokaev luck. I think that's a tough cut to make, but a tough no re-sign of the contract. It's tough that he's out of the UFC, but he's talented enough that I think he's going to have success anywhere. Especially he actually really surprised me in terms of how well he did on the feet in this fight. He was outdoing Manel Cap, and
he has amazing footwork and distance management.
Yeah, it was excellent. So he is a very well-rounded fighter. They could put him on a card in fucking England and he'd still sell well. And you heard the reaction to the fans when he won. They were pretty freaking loud. And so I think he's still got a really good fan base in the UK. And I think they'd welcome him with open arms. And then I think he'd find his way back.
But Matua has a question. Is it official? Yeah, he's been officially cut from the UFC rankings as of today, which is actually kind of unprecedented because they usually wait till Tuesday.
Yeah. But I hate the whole fucking division, and as long as Pantoja's up there, I don't give
Michael Bisping agrees with you.
Yeah. So get Erceg in there, get Tyre in there, try to get Pantoja the fuck out of there. Until then, I don't care.
I mean, and actually, for UFC flyweights in the top 10, this is actually like a good news for you, right? Now you don't have to fight fucking Mokaev, so
yeah, don't have to worry about whether the rule is instated or not, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, to be fair, the crowd was very pro-Muhammad. Matua asks, why do you dislike the division?
I dislike it because I dislike its champion. I don't like the fights he puts on. He has close fights, but he doesn't really do very well on the feet. He's just head is a fucking human target. He's like Navarrete, except somehow less fun and influence grappling all the time, which he should.
I mean, honestly, you just hate him because he beat Steve Erceg.
I hate him because the fucking Brazilian judges were pieces of shit that entire card and couldn't see with their eyes in that.
So that's Alex. Oh, that's Pantoja's fault.
Well, it's also he won a fucking close fight with Royval, and I picked him to win, and he somehow made that fight
was not close
with Royval, and he was getting beat up over and over and over again. And I just don't like him. I don't like his whole fighting style. I hate his striking defense. I just fucking hate him. So
the champion sucks. So therefore, the division's trash.
Yeah, he's beat everybody, and he beat Erceg in a very close decision. And now we're probably never going to see another guy beat him for 3 or 4.
Unfortunately, I'm with Juice Man. 125 is lit. Stop hating, cut.
Yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah, 125 was fair enough. Pantoja's a very good fighter. No one wins in Brazil.
Well, this
especially not the crowd.
Well, the fight between Cap and Mokaev should tell you just how fun the 125 division is.
The division's really fun, but yeah, unfortunately at the top, fighters can get tentative, and that's why I'm kind of excited for what Tetsu retires.
Lose with a few takedowns. Great.
But sure, I understand what you're saying. Next fight was Jake Hadley defeating Calvin Loughran. I picked Loughran to win. Thought he was a better looking prospect. Hadley kind of just won this fight like the entire time. Kind of just whooped up on Calvin Loughran, who I think now I know is not very good. I think Jake Hadley may want to just stay up at bantamweight. Dude, he looked pretty fucking good. But we don't really know. And shout out to him for taking this fight on such short notice. But what say you?
I'm trying to look up what Calvin Loughran's fight was like a few fights ago. His last fight was against Angel Pacheco. He looked pretty sloppy in that one, I'll being honest. And then there was one before that. Let me look it up because I think that's the one that made me realize.
Sven Svensson says, I'm sending my firstborn to the fight nerds. Not a bad idea.
Good, smart
Lacking
move.
personalities, but skill-wise, they're great. Yeah.
And fights were okay. He lost to Taylor Lapilus, and it wasn't the fact that he lost to Taylor Lapilus. It's that he did absolutely fucking nothing in that fight. And now I remember he could barely throw anything against Lapilus. He would look like Cap. He looked like Manel Cap. Way too tentative. And I was like, oh god.
And really square, I thought too.
Yeah, sort of like Drew Dober a little bit, where you're square and like you're just limited in mobility, and like Loughran just could not, for the love of God, get his shots off. And I think Jake Hadley was the faster of the two because he was at flyweight before. I think that speed actually translated really well. Gymnastics might as well pick out a boyfriend for him while you're nice. Sounds good. We'll let him train with Simone Biles. So Jake Hadley looked quicker. Jake Hadley somehow had the better striking than Loughran, despite Loughran being a striker. And then that made me remember that in his last couple fights, he's shown absolutely zero striking in his last couple fights. He looks terrible on the feet. And it showed. Way too tentative. And Hadley never took him down, did he? I don't think he did.
Can look that up. I actually have all the stats right here.
I'm pretty sure this stayed on the feet. And Hadley just fucking dominated. Maybe they were up against the cage.
Calvin Loughran actually accrued a minute 47 of control with one takedown out of 8 attempted. Hadley did never shoot a takedown. Or he did shoot one, wasn't successful. But really, I mean, the striking numbers can tell you the whole story of this fight.
Hadley was excellent. He was super technical. I wanted to see this from Hadley because the last two fights have just been him shooting takedowns and not getting them, and then looking awful on the feet. And honestly, that loss to Charles Johnson has aged like a fine wine because Charles Johnson has been doing fantastic his last 3 fights. And so that gives me hope for Jake Hadley. He might have just found his division. He didn't look shorter than Loughran. I thought he would look shorter than Loughran.
Yeah, so as a plus 200 underdog, he landed 100 total strikes out of almost 200 attempted. And mixed it up well, body, head, legs. Calvin Loughran just wasn't able to land a lot, landing 33 headshots out of 136 attempted. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And he shot a few takedowns, did Loughran, but muscle does not always translate to technique. I think that was my mistake. I thought, no matter how bad his technique is, he'll still out-muscle him and get him down to the ground. When you don't know how to fucking shoot a takedown, you can't get a takedown. So as simple as that, Hadley had the better striking. I'm glad he should keep training his striking because if he can actually have a solid striking game, he can go far, I think, in the bantamweight division, especially if he implements the grappling every now and then. But I'm fine. I'm glad to see that Jake Hadley has a future. And honestly, I thought he was going to get cut if he lost this one. But now he's completely revived his career. And we used to like Hadley. We used to like Hadley before he was starting to suffer some losses because he looked super fun on the regional scene. But I think this is a chance at a rebirth for Hadley in the UFC.
That MMA Math, were you at the event? He says, I'm going live later. I have some serious rage to get out. I was going to stay in Manchester until tomorrow, but decided to come out early so I can go live and rant.
Yeah, I think he was there.
Oh, sick. Yeah, half the fighters look like they were drugged. Don't have them fight at 3 a.m.
That could have influenced a lot of our picks, to be honest.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, maybe this next one. Molly McCann receiving an ass whooping from Bruno Brazil. She gets hurt in the first round. Body shot. Vicious body shot. Another one, I think it was a knee that hurt her, and then like a pretty nice kick, or maybe I'm getting that mixed up. But either way, she got absolutely fucking whooped up in this fight. Her strong point, I thought, would be the grappling. I picked her to go to decision, but even Bruno Brazil was able to out-grapple Molly McCann. What the heck? MMA just does not make any sense sometimes.
No. You know what was the one thing that could have influenced our pick here? She had Kyle Baralho in her corner.
Oh, right. Yeah, I did notice that after the I even said as much after the fight. I was like, oh shit, she's a fight nerd.
We should have known.
But yeah, no, I mean, outclassed Molly McCann, really. Molly looked like shit in this fight. Yeah. And maybe 115 isn't her son, but
maybe none of them are.
Yeah.
She's bad at fighting.
Molly McCann said, I've rewatched the kick and knee to her stupid stomach like 10 times already, and I love it.
It dropped her.
That MMA says, I was with my mother and son, and she called MMA shit and left before Patty fought.
Well, I don't blame her because she was dealing with fucking 7 or 8 decisions in a fucking
Whoa.
so I don't blame you, mama. Go on home, baby. Why,
Damn.
why would you stay up? Why would you stay up at like 5 or 6 in the morning and there have been no finishes? I don't blame her.
Molly losing was a highlight. Satisfying seeing the meatball sizzle.
Well, she's already sizzled a million times before. I mean, she lost to that one girl in like 1 minute via submission. Nice. Wow, they really hate her. They really.
This chat is already better than this card was.
Yeah, but my take on this fight is that Molly just had nothing on the feet, nothing on the ground either. She was getting out-grappled by Bruno Brazil, and she almost latched in a submission on Molly McCann several times in like the second round and the third round. So she was better everywhere. Just goes to show that Molly's talent did not translate between the flyweight and strawweight divisions. We after she lost in 1 minute via submission, we should have seen that her career was just on the fucking drop. I mean, just because she had one nice win via submission doesn't mean that her entire career is restored after the fact. She couldn't even get her shots off, dude. She looked terrible on the feet. She couldn't hit any of those massive Molly power rushes, bum rushes, power shots, reverse elbow. She tried one reverse elbow and it completely fucking missed. So she just looked herself. I'll be honest, she looked herself, which is fucking bad. So Molly McCann is probably going to lose a few more times and get cut. She really is rotten.
I don't think they'll cut her.
You're losing to Bruno Brazil dominantly.
Nah, I don't think they'll cut her. She's too big of a draw because of the patty rub.
Yeah.
But
she's going to keep getting embarrassed. That's what I'm predicting.
I'm interested to see because Matua makes an interesting point. He says they shouldn't have moved down to 115. I kind of disagree with that.
She got her win in strawweight
because strawweight debut. Okay. So she's actually 1-1 at strawweight now with this loss. Diana Belbita was the first fight she had at strawweight, and then Bruno Brazil was her first loss. So I don't know about that. Holy shit, Shavkat is -1
already.
-271. Wow, that is interesting. Damn, I was looking for her to make a change. I'm jumping on that easy money.
So
is he not cutting her? They need her for clown shows in England again. Yeah. What was we move on to the next fight. Daniel Wood.
What I was gonna say is that this might be the new like Weili Zhang Carla Esparza. Yeah, we know she's gonna win. She beat Rose in that horrible fight, and now Weili's just gonna fucking kick her ass. Oh, she got it. There we go. Order is restored to the world. But I gotta say Bilal's actually pretty decent in the grappling and not bad on the feet either. So I think it's
talking about Carla Esparza. You're comparing Carla Esparza versus Rose 2 to Bilal versus Leon. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm saying it's the situation of, okay, this guy won. We know that this other guy who's a contender is just going to come right back.
With Shavkat. Got it.
Yes, exactly.
I disagree, but yeah.
But I'm saying
we'll talk more about that later.
That's the mood in the room is what I'm saying.
Nathaniel Wood defeating Daniel Pineda via decision. My thoughts is Wood had another flaccid performance, but yeah. Look, I said before the fight started that this is like a grappler's delight. Daniel Pineda, dude, this guy he's an animal. Shout out to him. He never once gave up in this fight.
No,
always fighting back. I said that Nathaniel Wood needed a finish really to just cement his standing in the featherweight division. Sorry, he was a former bantamweight, and he did not do that.
Not even close.
This was way too close of a fight. He looked. I mean, Pineda was winning at some points in the fight. Overall, Wood did get it done. Actually, if you believe this, some people in the live chat were saying that Pineda won and it was a robbery that Wood won. But
he clearly won the first 2 rounds.
Even for unreasonable fans to be saying that about you just shows that your stock is dropping.
Yeah, you fucked up.
I mean, I don't know, man. I think he should change his name from the Prospect to just Nathaniel Hardwood or something like that.
Mm-hmm. or
What
soft.
about you?
Yeah, Nathaniel Wood. It's just strange because he looked good in the first 2 rounds. He dropped Daniel Pineda at one point in the first round, but I honestly think that Nathaniel Wood's weakness is that he does not, for the life of him, know how to finish a fight. Because he dropped him and couldn't finish him on the ground. There were points where he dropped him and then he got into grapple position. He got into half guard when he could have been like standing and like raining down shots from above, and instead he chose guard. He chose to grapple with him towards the end of some of these rounds, which I think was a mistake from Wood. If he'd have just done some ground and pound and like stayed standing, I think he could have easily knocked out Daniel Pineda. But I think it's the grappler in him and just his previous fights that has basically made him think, oh, I should just win this round. I should just dominate this and secure this round. And then that's a nice tentative approach to take. But someone should have told him, like Skatesman said, you need a good finish to get into the top 15. And Wood just could not find a way to do it. Like, even though the opportunities were right there in front of him. So he knocked him down in round 1, went for grappling instead. Round 2, he hits him with a shot that busts him up over his eye or bruises his eye. And then he can't find the same shot. And if he had hit him in that spot like 2 or 3 times, I guarantee he would have knocked him right down. Like fucking Chris Weidman versus Bruno Silva. Couldn't get that. Then he leg kicks him 2 or 3 times, and he's literally falling over every time that he kicks his leg. Still can't finish him. Still can't finish. It was that point I was fucking screaming at Wood towards the end of the second round. Finish him, you fucking idiot, is what I was just saying. And there were like 4 or 5 times in round 2 he could have finished him. He didn't. So I think this is honestly karma for Wood. I think he deserved that to get dominated on top in round 3. If you can't finish your opponent with leg strikes or with head strikes, you just deserve to get out grappled. And then somehow Pineda was able to get him down and embarrassed him for 5 minutes. He still won, and now his reputation's in the fucking toilet, and he's not going to get in the featherweight top 15. So sucks to suck, Wood. You did really well in the first half of the fight, but you didn't have the killer instinct. So
Sucks to suck, Wood.
Yeah.
Arnold Allen defeating Giga Chikadze. He largely outclassed Giga. This was never a grappling match, which I thought is how Arnold was going to get this done. I thought he was going to mix it up and just kind of, just be the more well-rounded guy. Giga, to his credit, landed some nice kicks, but really the problem was that Giga was literally running the entire match. He never moved forward on Arnold Allen. Arnold just mogged him with the pressure and really just kind of whooped Giga's ass.
Yeah.
Not much to really say. Unfortunately, sort of like the last fight. Arnold Allen needed a finish. But you know what? Just getting the win after a 2-fight losing streak is enough. Fine. So,
yeah, I agree. I actually think that Arnold Allen lost the first round. I think that Chikadze was actually hitting him with more like technical strikes, and his head kick game was on point in the first round as well. He was hitting Arnold like through the guard like 4 times in that round. So I feel like he lost the first round, and at this point I was feeling like super pessimistic. Oh my God, this is just going to be Allen versus Evloev all over again. Fuck, dude, this guy can't catch a break. Why can't he just win a fights definitively? But then he came back in the second round, had really good jabs. I really liked Arnold's jab game. It was getting through the guard, and he was just pulling a Sean Strickland. The jab was money every single time, and that's what he did. Good body kicks as well. Allen is very well rounded. He might have lost his knockout ability, or it's like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. in the morning or something. I can't imagine that scenario. And he was tired during that. But
who did he knock out?
He knocked out Dan Hooker, and he knocked out Calvin Kattar by a brutal leg kick.
You mean Dan Hooker that fucking killed himself to make featherweight in a TKO loss? Yeah,
I know. Really,
I don't think Arnold Allen's ever had knockout power.
Really brutal.
And I think that's really due to his technique being so sloppy.
Yeah, and it was sloppy here. It was definitely sloppy in the first round, but he had more pressure going into the second and third rounds, and I think that's what did it for him. And Chikadze was just running away. He was just going around in circles like he was fucking Ken Shamrock, and didn't work out. And Arnold Allen just had the better striking, so he won. Good for him. What do you want next for Arnold Allen?
Good question. Let me pull up the featherweight rankings. Who was that girl that ran? Chelsea Chandler.
The track.
Everybody's forgotten about Chelsea Chandler, but
very underrated technique.
Right, let me pull up the top.
She's on 2-fight win streak, so that running is paying off.
15, I guess, here. You got Dan Ige. Not a bad fight. Thug Nasty, I think, is probably
Oh, that'd be sad.
well enough far away from that vicious loss to
Josh Emmett.
Which, funny enough, they have it as a TKO. That was a straight up, flat out fucking knockout.
One punch knockout. One punch. Yeah.
Lerone Murphy, interesting, but not fireworks. You got, wow, they have Volk as number 8. Holy shit. Aljamain and Ortega are booked. Arnold is number 4 in Topology. Josh Emmett coming off of that win of Bryce Mitchell.
One. I like that fight.
Yeah, let's go Bryce Mitchell versus Arnold Allen. I think that's the fight to make.
All right. It sounds fun.
I also wouldn't hate Dan Ige, but
do you think Arnold Allen? Do you think Bryce Mitchell stands a chance in that fight?
I think Bryce Mitchell's done, man. I honestly, I can't. I have no more faith in him after that. Dude, that knockout loss scared the shit out of me. That was one of the first knockouts I saw where I was like, dude, this guy is fucking dead.
Yeah. I think that KO from Uriah Hall on Tough, I also thought the opponent was dead.
Sure.
Remember that? He could barely fucking breathe for a little
while.
But
yeah, I don't know, dude. Honestly, I don't know what the UFC wants to do with Bryce Mitchell, right? Like, do they want to get him a comeback win, or do they want to build somebody off of it?
I mean, like I've been saying, I really want a matchup that's fun for Bryce Mitchell. You want one where the personalities bounce off the wall between him and his opponent. That's why I've always wanted Nate the Train versus Bryce Mitchell.
Sure.
Because it's just such a great mix of personalities. They're like perfect for each other. And they'd sell the fight if they were given a pre-fight press conference. Like, that's always the one that I've wanted. But and honestly, he got brutally knocked out. So I don't know why we'd give him like a jump up the rankings for getting brutally knocked out.
But again, I don't know what the UFC wants to do.
Right. Really who knows? Who knows at the end of the
day. The next fight was Gregory Rodriguez defeating Chris Leroy Duncan. I thought that if Gregory Rodriguez was going to win this, it would be by first round knockout. And I thought that CLD would kind of be the guy to win the second and third rounds. That's why I picked him by decision. Gregory Rodriguez shot the most takedowns that he's ever shot in a fight. In this fight, he fought smart.
Beautiful.
Chris Leroy Duncan was very bloody by the end of the fight, not due to Gregory Rodriguez, but due to Chris Leroy Duncan hitting Gregory Rodriguez with an elbow from hell that just made him bleed like crazy. But
he opened up his third eye again.
Yeah, amazing. Just well-rounded performance from RoboCop that I did not expect. And shout out to him, man. I mean, I should have seen this coming. Just a more well-rounded guy getting it done. I thought this would be a more scrappy fight. But no, Gregory Rodriguez showed that he's got some fight IQ.
I mean, this was one of my happiest moments of the entire card. I was depressed for like 4 or 5 fights, and this was like the upper that I needed because I love RoboCop, RoboBama 2024. He's one of my favorite fighters at middleweight. He's great to watch. His grappling looks phenomenal. He's actually a fun wrestler, and his striking is just so powerful that it's like he can just hit you with an overhand right and it just stumbles the opponent. He's super fun to watch, and I love his nickname, of course, RoboCop. But with this fight, I knew that Rodriguez would have the grappling advantage. And also, what you were talking about, how Duncan would pick up during the second and third rounds. We forget that Rodriguez knocked out Brad Tavares in the third round. He went all 3 rounds.
Dude, you're still like just thinking that Gregory Rodriguez knocking out Brad Tavares is like the best performance ever.
What I'm saying
Tavares is washed and old. Fuck him.
No, but what I'm saying is that he got a knockout in the third round. He didn't get it in the first round. He was able to go 15 minutes and still find the power and the energy to get the finish. So he has decent cardio. And I think as he was able to grapple Duncan, if anything, it was Duncan who was getting tired with Rodriguez up on top. So that sort of killed Duncan's cardio a little bit. I think the grappling is what did it here. And then a combination of when they were actually in the pocket. I told everybody that CLD, he has very like long range shots, kicks.
I said he was an MVP impersonator.
I guess so. I also accused him of being C-Rod in disguise. And he did get fraud checked, so maybe he is C-Rod at the end of the day. But basically, whenever they were in the pocket, Rodriguez had straighter shots. He had overhand rights that just hit him on the right side of his head over and over and over again. And it's just tough. I think if Duncan had kept at range, I think he would have outlanded RoboCop, but RoboCop is really good at making it close and putting his opponent up against the cage. And I think he was able to either get really nice overhands or get close enough to the cage that he could reverse the grappling and get a takedown. And so I think this was a masterclass from RoboCop over 3 rounds. I had it 30-27. RoboCop at the end of the day. It could be 29-28 on some people's scorecards, but dominant work from Rodriguez. And I want him to have a ranked opponent after this. He's looked phenomenal and fun to watch.
Let's matchmake for him.
Right.
Do you have an opponent in mind?
I'm not sure.
Middleweight, right?
Yeah, it is. Let me look at the.
By the way, shout out to CST. He says the Chris Leroy Duncan hype train is derailed.
Yeah, not like Nate the Train, baby. Can't stop a moving train. It's on the tracks, baby.
Let's see, we got RoboCop and top, and these are Topology rankings, by the way.
Okay, so there's.
Let's see, where the fuck is he? Oh, he's number 15 or number 16.
There's Chris Curtis at number 15. That'd be you don't want that. Pereira's already booked. Oh, Baralho's there. That might be
2 Brazilians, man.
What about Roman Dolidze? They're never gonna give him Khamzat Chimaev, so that's never gonna happen. Jack Hermanson. Jack
Hermanson. I mean, I don't think this was the most impressive performance. Let's see, who did Hermanson?
It was absolutely impressive. It was dominant.
I'm just saying it wasn't the most impressive performance because there wasn't a finish, and it was over a guy who's 11 fights into his career.
Yeah, but it's not like Arnold Allen. Oh, he just
you're just a RoboCop mark, and I understand that. I mean, how could you not like the guy? Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I just think that moving him into the top 10 is a little bit too much.
Well, what in the top 11 to 15? You got to book him against somebody. I think the best pick would be either Curtis or Baralho, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think Baralho is just on a way better run. He's undefeated, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's true. But I thought you were fine with people coming off a win going against other fighters with the win.
Yeah, but I just think that Baralho is just way too far up the rankings. He needs a much better name than that. But the problem with middleweight is the division's so log jammed at the top, especially with guys like Khamzat Chimaev not fucking fighting.
Yeah.
Hermanson, sure. Another guy who's been kind of up and down in recent years. I mean, literally since 2020, win loss.
Yeah, I think that'd be a solid fight.
Yeah, and I don't hate the Chris Curtis fight either. Actually,
yeah, that would be a back and forth scrap. You know it.
That one's going to decision as well. All decisions wins should end in a power slap match. Whoever wins the fight gets the slap. It's the first slap.
That's basic.
Love it. Curtis and Greg. Isn't this Greg? Oh, okay. Rodolfo Vieira, he says. Nah. I think Gregory Rodriguez.
You would be fine. Yeah.
Throw Greg to the wolves. He'll be fine. I want to know Greg's diet. He looks like he
works out only in prison.
Nice.
Well, he's definitely eating his vitamins, if you know.
So our next fight was Bobby Green versus Patty the Batty. Oh, Patty. Oh, Patty the Batty. I picked Bobby Green to win this fight. I thought that he would show good takedown defense. I thought that he would just have the better striking. No, Patty absolutely dusted a really respectful Bobby Green.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the comments are saying Patty looks sharp. Bobby slipped up. We almost had 2-0 skate. No, we didn't, because Patty absolutely completely dusted Bobby Green. I mean, I would say Bobby looked bad, but no, Patty just looked amazing. Had the best performance and win of his whole entire career. Actually,
who knows what this fight would have been if Bobby hadn't shot a takedown. I will say
that was an interesting decision for sure. He actually choked Bobby Green out. As soon as that triangle was in, I was like,
that's it.
Fuck. Choked him out and had an armbar on him. So, yeah, and as Michael Bisping says, true domination from Patty. Bobby made a mistake. Patty capitalized. Sure, but this is the top end of lightweight. You can't make a mistake.
And Patty looked solid on the feet too. He wasn't getting pieced up too much by Bobby. I think Patty struck Bobby more.
Yeah, we can pull up the stats, but I don't know, dude. I mean,
you don't have to. It wasn't much.
But yeah, go ahead and give us your brand. I know you're very happy on your perfect pick on this card.
Dude, my fucking brother in arms, Patty the Body Mate. I always had him by first round sub. Green and Jordan Levitt, who you could swap them in and out. Tomato, lad. Patty the Body, he dominated. He was fucking taller, better striker. I swear he beats Charles Oliveira. He put him against Armin Saruki and he don't get knocked out. Put him against Islam, greatest thing since Beatles, mate.
Actually, Patty had attempted as many strikes as Bobby landed. So
okay, so Bobby
take that for what it's worth.
Yeah. I think this was my piece de resistance. This was my moment of triumph right here. This is what helped me beat Sean at the end of the day. Pimblett, he had a great game plan where, and I remember because I watched his interview with Guru, and Guru recommended to him.
Don't you want to give away the game plan, lad?
Yeah, exactly. But Guru told him, hey, you might want to be on the back foot. Might not want to engage and push forward with Green. Make him come to you, because when he has to come to you, that's when he usually looks his worst in the striking. And Patty, he stayed away from Green. He waited for Green to come at him with some punches before he did some good counter shots. And I think he threw Bobby off his game plan. It was sort of like Aljo and O'Malley a little bit, where he maintained the distance and then he eventually lunges forward. And that's what happened. Green lunged forward at Patty. Terrible mistake. Unbelievable timing with that triangle. How the fuck did he get that? That was like the smoothest, like, oh my God, he got it. He got the triangle. It was like he went from guillotine, I believe. He had the guillotine and then he like pushed him off and he got the fucking knee, legs around him for the arm triangle. That was super duper impressive. So Patty's grappling is really good. Usually he's just only reliant on back takes and getting him to the ground, but this is a new feather in his cap, dude. I can't believe he got it. Like, I was like amazed. Like, I was doing my fucking nerd character, and like my real voice just came out as soon as he got that arm triangle. And then I think Green was already out before he could even get an arm. I think he already passed out, so he was already done. But he had to just fucking break Bobby Green's arm for good measure, just like fucking Molly McCann in her submissions. So great work from Patty the Batty. Great game plan going into it as well. Really exciting performance. It was a highlight of the card. And then he got I know there were some boos. I think at one point Green, like before the fight, was like, yeah, fuck Patty. And then the crowd's like, yeah, fuck him. So, oh no, the crowd's turning on Patty. But no, the crowd went absolutely fucking bonkers when Patty won. He cut a classic Patty the Batty speech where he just talks shit. And then, oh, I'm a good man, lad. A shout out to me foundation and my little friend who passed away a few months ago, lad. And, you know, classic Patty the Batty, and he somehow gets another win. But I can't, nobody can doubt Patty now. He has a really good skill set, and against the right opponent, he can actually be a decent striker as well, in my opinion.
So I'm not, though I did pick against Patty in this fight, I'm not fully going to accept him as like future champion or even a future top 5. No. So I'm going to still have my doubts about him. Juice Man is calling aggressively for Moicano versus Patty. Problem is he's already booked to fight Benoit Saint Denis. And actually, really the biggest problem that Patty has right now is if I go down the top 10, obviously Islam is your champ.
Yeah.
Armin number 2, he's clearly the guy to fight him next. You got Charles and Justin. I think they need to run it back if Justin wants to continue fighting. Then there's Dustin. We don't know if he's fighting anymore. Gamrot booked to fight Dan Hooker. There's Beneil Dariush coming off of 2 knockout losses to Armin and Charles. Rafael Fiziev coming off that horrible injury to Gamrot. Before that, a decision to Justin Gaethje.
Isn't he booked? No, he's not booked.
No, I think he's waiting to come back because he broke his leg last year. Then you got 9 and 10. This is Tapology, by the way. Moicano and Hooker booked. Benoit 11 booked. Michael Chandler, I mean, we all know what's happening with him. And then Jalen Turner just got finished by Moicano, and then you have Patty at 14. So
crazy.
15
dude.
Grant Dawson, 16 Bobby Green, 17 Matt Frivola booked, Joel Alvarez 18 booked, Max Holloway, they're not giving him that fight. Dober 20 just coming off of a vicious loss to John Silva. And then you guys got guys coming off of wins like CDF, Drakkar Close, Ludovic Klein.
I've heard ideas that if Moicano beats Benoit Saint Denis,
which is coming up in September,
you could always do Patty versus Money. That might be a super fight, and then they could go back and forth on the mic. That would sell pretty well.
Even Turner, he just got finished, bro. Like not even a few months ago. It depends on how the UFC wants to book Patty. I think what happened is Patty's now being paid more, or I don't know. There's kind of some dispute about that. But either way, all fighters are underpaid. But it depends on what the UFC wants to do. Do they want it? Patty's obviously calling for big names, but as I just said, all of them are booked, so he's gonna have to wait. Which I don't think he's like been super active. So Moicano is definitely an option if he wins BSD, or even BSD if he wins. But I don't know, man. What are your thoughts? Because I really don't know where to book him.
I don't know, man. I just try to make as fun and even a matchup as I possibly could in order to get people interested in the fight. And in my opinion, I think Moicano would be a great matchup because they're both grapplers. They both have all right striking, but the question is who's the better wrestler of the two.
This was my idea. Let Gamrot beat him up. That's I think that's the fight to make.
Not bad.
But again, Gamrot is booked against
Hooker.
Yes, Hooker, which is a weird fight.
So weird. They don't like Gamrot.
No, they hate Gamrot.
Yeah.
Some people were saying Benny D. I don't like that fight, but you know what? I think Benny's he's far removed away from those two.
He's got to fight eventually or quit.
I think he does want to retire, but I'm not sure. He was at the fights last night, cornering
Patty.
No, he was cornering fucking Giga.
Oh yeah.
Maybe Fazeev be a good one, but again, I think that for me to actually make an official booking on a pick, I do like the Gamrot booking, but we're just gonna have to wait till things play out a little more in the lightweight division, which is another logjam division at the top.
The only way you make Gamrot likable is if he beats Patty.
For sure. I don't hate Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But anyway.
I mean, it's hard to hate Charles Oliveira.
The next fight was Tom Aspinall defeating Curtis Blades. Quick. Tom Aspinall, his average fight time in the UFC, would you care to take a guess?
Isn't it a minute and like 12 seconds, 15?
It's 89 seconds.
So that's like a minute 29.
Yes. So
all right. 89
seconds. You're pretty damn close. 89-second average fight time. Tom Aspinall, I believe. Now, Curtis Blades undeniably had all of the odds stacked against him.
This is news to Matua, apparently.
What's that?
This is news to Matua, apparently. The average?
Yep. Blades had everything stacked against him. In no world was he supposed to win this fight. But I think that more importantly is Tom in the hometown lost to Curtis Blades via injury, needed to get this one back. Really the only thing left for him to do in the heavyweight division was to get this one back and, eventually get that fight with John Jones for the undisputed title, which I believe, to me, this is the undisputed champion right here.
Yeah, of course.
Everything on his shoulders, man. Hometown, all the pressure of him versus Jones on his back, and the guy just shows up, dude. He's that freaking guy, dude. And I said this before the fight that I think he's that guy. He is him. Sort of like Terrence Crawford, right?
Like John Silva.
But at the highest level of the sport, this dude is him. Oh my gosh, dude. I mean, KO1 was the easiest pick of the entire card.
Yeah.
If you pick Curtis Blades to win this fight, Either you're a degenerate gambler or you just don't know what you're talking about.
Although to be fair, Blades did get Aspinall with a few shots that caught him flush, like at least like 8 or 9 shots right on the chin.
Yeah, I can pull that up.
Yeah, but continue with your assessment.
I'm actually interested now. Official stats: 1 knockdown for Tom, 14 out of 19 strikes attempted. 14. Every single shot he threw was a significant strike, and 13 seconds of control time. Blades only landing 5 strikes and attempted 12, all to the head. Nobody threw a body shot or a leg kick in this entire fight.
They were aiming for heads.
But no, man. I mean, geez, fuck. I mean, some people fold under pressure. Tom Aspinall is not that guy. No. This was the most pressure he's ever had on him in a fight, and he delivered in spades. He continues to impress me, though I picked him by KO1. Still, just this guy, he's the guy. What's your breakdown of the fight?
Yeah, it's interesting. Tom was quick. Tom's always quick. He didn't hit any leg kicks, did he? It was all just punches back and forth. I gotta say that Curtis Blades, he hit Tom a few times. It almost reminded me of
5 times.
Yeah, it almost reminded me of Aspinall versus Sergey, where Sergey's like, "Ooh, that was close. Ooh, that just barely grazed Aspinall," and then bam, jab, puts him down. And it's strange. Like, was that a combination of the jab and him like being off balance, or like was he really just that powerful that he literally just sent Blades down with the jab? It's tough because he hit a jab and then he hit a right hand that like barely grazed him, and then it's almost like a push, but it's like weird. I think the jab really did connect and put him down, and if that's true, that shows how fucking powerful and fast Tom Aspinall is, that he can sit down entire heavyweights with just a fucking jab. But that's what he did. Down goes Blades. The 1 or 2 second shot that Tom Aspinall hit was the one that put down Blades, which is just fucking unbelievable. Same thing as Sergey Pavlovich. The guy is so fucking powerful and fast for his division, so athletic. And then he immediately got on Blades' back. This is my favorite thing about Tom Aspinall's game, is that he can knock you down, and then he gets in a perfect position to fucking finish you. Whether he's on the top and then he's getting a straight arm lock, or he's got you like pinned down, bam, 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 and he finishes. Tom Aspinall might have the best grappling of the entire heavyweight division, on top of him being a really powerful striker, which is just like unfair. Like, he is seriously, in my opinion.
So I don't think that Tom has like straight up knockout power like Francis. I think it's more the speed that gives him his power.
Yeah. Speed over power, timing beats speed.
That's why you see Tom like knock dudes down and then ground and pound him out, because he doesn't have like that one shot power like Francis. But
still got speed.
Still has,
and
definitely has some power for sure.
When he got on top, he immediately flattened Blades out and put him in a position where he could not move, and then got the TKO win easier than I ever thought it could be, to be honest. He still took a few shots, I will admit. His striking defense might not be the best, but the dude has a rock hard granite chin. So when you got a chin like Aspinall's, it doesn't really matter if you get hit with a few shots. He's been hit by Pavlovich and by Blades, and he fucking took it. So, the question is, like, I don't know. I think Jones is fucking even slower than those two. I don't think Jones hits Tom with anything fucking.
So this is a controversial topic, because there is people who have been watching the sport for years. I have not, right? Like I knew about guys like Rampage Jackson, Lyoto Machida, Rashad Evans back in the day, Junior Dos Santos, Cain Velasquez. But I never really got into the sport until about 2019. So there's people who've been watching forever, and they watched John Jones run through the best ever light heavyweight division of just stars from Pride and everything. So a lot of people just will tell you John Jones beats anybody. And I understand that, because he has, right? Like, yeah. But, it's just that last run at light heavyweight, those last few fights.
Split decision to Thiago Santos, and then I think obviously lost against Dominic Reyes. They just took that away from Reyes. Really embarrassing stuff. Hasn't looked great. It was even touched up by Gon before he got that takedown.
Yeah, and that's what I want. I was gonna move into that is like, we saw Francis completely dominate Gon on the ground. I mean, Gon didn't do anything
Yeah,
to Francis
exactly.
on the ground. Not only that, he had 2 busted up knees and not a submission guy. So
This is what I was trying to say from Matua. There's an argument to say Jones fought smaller guys, though, which is absolutely true. Like there was nobody that Jones was facing that was at his height level or just below it. That is a good point to make.
but in my opinion, like Jones subbing Cyril was impressive, but it's like, dude's a fucking kickboxer that got out grappled by Francis.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
fuck? I consider myself a vet. That's what's up. So look, am I gonna just say Tom just blows the doors off of Francis and it's not even close? No, I'm not. The problem is Tom Aspinall has an 89-second average fight time. We don't even know what the fuck he looks like in the 3rd round, 4th, 5th. And
Yeah.
we know that John Jones is consistent over the
Mhm.
over the distance. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously he has more tools than Tom, right? Like I don't
Right.
think that's crazy to say.
Yeah.
So but to me,
He gets older and older. He's getting old.
sure. To me, and this was accentuated by the comments that Dana White had made in the post-fight press conference. Which, by the way, did you watch?
I watched a little bit of it.
Okay, so they go, hey, Tom and John, and he's like, yeah, duh, but then he's like, well, somebody was like, well, is John gonna even fight Tom if he retires? And he goes, well, if John retires, which is hilarious that he would even be like, he's not even.
Oh, of course he's going to retire after.
Well, no, he's not even like selling the fight. He's just like, yeah, John definitely beats Stipe. He wasn't even like, well, yeah, if Stipe wins, right? So he's like, well, yeah, I mean, if maybe John retires, and the guy's like, okay, but if John retires, then like, what about Tom? And he's not even hiding it at this point. He's like,
yeah.
Oh, if John retires, then which is. And by the way, before I say this, when people were asking about Tom, nobody ever was like, hey, Tom and Jones. He was just like, yeah, Tom's great, but have you heard about this guy John Jones? Right, unprovoked, right?
Greatest ever.
So then he gets, asked about the retirement, and he goes, well, if John retires, then I guess Tom's my guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude,
I'm not defending John Jones.
Guy now. He's your guy.
I'm not defending John Jones. I'm not defending him.
Fucking average fight time. He doesn't hit women or crash into car poles and crash into pregnant women and fucking. I mean,
yeah, he's the best representative. He's the best representative
coke. I mean,
sport at heavyweight. He's the best representative.
Exactly. Tom is your guy now. Promote him now. Promote that fight now. But he's just like, I think that they really want. And I've heard some other people talk about this. I think they really want that undefeated heavyweight, greatest of all time American. I think that that's really important to the UFC, which is something I didn't really consider, but it could be possible. But yeah, what are your thoughts on just everything Dana White and John Jones related?
My opinion is fuck him and fuck Jones. I don't give a shit about American bullshit. I don't even give a shit if I'm an American champion at heavyweight. The best in the world right now is Tom Aspinall. I'm totally on your side in terms of what's good for the sport here. Fucking ridiculous, dude. We know that he's been ducking Aspinall for almost a fucking year now, and they'll make any excuse for him. Even John's trying to get fucking Alex Pereira fight in order to not get a Tom Aspinall.
Which, by the way, I will give Dana credit there. Like, well, what about Tom and Alex? And he's like, no, what are you talking about? And I like that. I like that he was dismissing Alex at heavyweight.
Yeah, exactly. He's been a fantastic light heavyweight champion, and it'd be a great fight between him and Ankalaev.
No, it's not, Matua. Stop.
My point is that Dana fucking glazes Jones because either Jones has dirt on him or he just wants Jones to be the GOAT in order to benefit the UFC. He has no morals whatsoever. That's why he's teaming up with a fucking blood money corporation-run state and 3-odd fucking season. Fuck him.
100%.
I fucking hate Dana and everything he's been doing with the UFC for the last couple months. So fuck him. Any take that he has regarding what should be the future of the sport is fucking wrong because he should just retire at this point. He tells a bunch of athletes to retire. Dana should fucking retire. He's washed. So fuck Dana.
No, I mean, I understand where your head's at. Yeah, Dana should retire or try harder, right?
Yeah.
Because
he's never
as
going
much
to.
effort as he puts into Power Slap and how
exactly
amazing of a show Dana White's Contender Series is, he could try a little harder, but he's just making too much money. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He only cares about what his priorities are in terms of expanding the sport or expanding to this region or this demographic and making UFC global. That's his only value at this point. What's on a national basis? What's symbolic for the UFC? Not what actually prints money or what's actually fun. So Dana fucking sucks at this point.
Our next fight was Bilal Muhammad defeating Leon Edwards via decision. For once, and listen, went 7 out of 14, 50-50, not bad. Hank the Tank takes the Tapology competition for this week,
Only one
bringing
up.
our total to 5-4-1. Skatesman's still up, and also I picked the main event right? Main event's all that matters, right? So I actually won technically. I'm just kidding. Congratulations to you, Hank, on your picks, man.
Thank you.
But I would say I broke this fight down expertly in the preview show. I said Bilal Muhammad would win just based mostly off volume and just doing more work. Leon Edwards is known to just not do a lot, though he is a very precise and probably has the more power than, well, actually, undeniably has the more power than Bilal Muhammad. I said that really another big deciding factor was Bilal's energy this fight week, dude. This guy was on fire. The man on a mission. Just, I mean, his energy to me was undeniable. And Leon's not so much. He was a little more passive and just like, dude, Bilal sucks. Who cares? So I think that I broke that down expertly. And in the fight itself, that was 100% what happened. Leon looked good. I think it was the third round.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
And he had Bilal's back for a majority of it.
Yeah, could not get that rear naked choke for the life.
Yeah, he was definitely trying for it. Never could get it in. Bilal quickly in the fourth put him in that position, which I thought was pretty impressive. And then from the opening bell, Bilal just went right in for the takedown and the grappling, slamming Leon, spiking him on his head in the second round, which I think is illegal. But,
the referee just fucking dodged that shit.
Leon, a lot of fence grabs himself, but I wasn't expecting the striking to be so crispy and just beautiful. The jab of Bilal, he even rocked Leon in a few instances. It looked like, if not outright rocked him, he definitely stumbled him and was just putting it on.
Yeah. He made Leon pay for everything he threw.
Yeah, everything. And Bilal is a man on a mission tonight. I did not expect him to look that good. I thought that this would be a split decision or even like 3-2, which some people said it was because of that elbow at the very end of the fight. But what say you, my friend?
He fucking delivered, dude. I was shocked by how good he was on the feet. I was really shocked. Like, there was hardly any moments of success from Leon Edwards in the striking. He landed like a body kick every once in a while. Did he even like land clean on Bilal in a head strike? Maybe a jab on occasion, but almost all of it was like Bilal just hitting him with 2-3-piece combinations. And what I think really won him this fight, he kept pressuring Leon against the cage over and over and over again. And then he just shot the takedown, and he doesn't even have to get it like outside the cage. He can just literally grab Leon and then whoop, hey, slams him like fucking Michael Chandler.
Opa!
Hatsbula! And he got Edwards down and got the back a few times. He just looked like a better Leon Edwards than Leon Edwards, and he was just more aggressive, I think, which he needed to be for this contest. He actually reminded me a lot of Usman versus Edwards too. I think where Usman kept pressuring and he was waiting for him to back up, and then he just laid on him with shots. Except I think he did even better than Usman in that he was beating up Leon everywhere. Like, it didn't matter where he was. Edwards didn't have to stay still. He just kept hitting him from every single angle. And, like, it was a perfect performance outside of round 3 and outside of the last, 10 seconds of round 5, where Edwards finally got on top and landed some nasty elbows on Muhammad.
Which, to me, doesn't win you the round.
No. But my question is, if that had gone on another 5 seconds or 10 seconds, that might have been a little bad for Muhammad.
Yeah, is Leon, the best a fifth round fighter at the last
round.
10 seconds of a fight? I mean, he might be.
I think so. He's got to be. Absolutely. How did he come close to just – he rocked him a few times with that elbow, busted open his nose. And if that had gone another 10 seconds, who fucking knows what the result of that fight could have been. But it was sort of like O'Malley against Vera, where it's like, okay, it's the last like minute of the round. He's not going to lose here. But then again, you know, Neil Magny beat Mike Malott with 2 minutes left. So
yeah,
you can never be fully out of it during a fight. Like there's always a chance that the other guy finds a way to mount, which Leon no Diddy, by the way, which Leon Edwards was able to do. So incredible stuff from Bilal Muhammad, dominant on the feet, dominant on the ground for the most part when he got the hooks in. So I think the pressure game of Bilal Muhammad has improved tremendously. And good stuff from him. I still don't see him going that far as a champion when you got JDM and Shavkat up in the top 5. But
and everyone's favorite fighter, Ian Gary.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, I think Shavkat's next for him for sure.
Yeah.
I need to step out for a second.
Well, you know that Shavkat, Dana White wants Shavkat to be next for Bilal Muhammad because Dana White does not like having him as champion. We saw in that post-fight press conference, Dana was turning a new fucking shade of red. He looked like the fucking Grinch who stole Christmas in the first 10 minutes. Guy was not happy to be there. I think he was holding back tears during the moment. The man was salty as fuck. In the meantime, I'm going to read you guys' comments. Love Ian. Yes, I can understand liking Ian. He's got a good... Well, actually, I don't really understand that much. But he does what he needs to win. He is a great prospect. Leon stopped moving when Bilal was on him. Bilal never stopped. Yeah, he did. Yeah. Leon was fucking paralyzed like he was against Usman in their second fight. Leon and Strickland are the same person. That is not true whatsoever. Bilal could have gone all night. No Diddy. Got to have the no Diddy counter out too. Leon staying still was shit. Leon stopped wrestling. Bilal throwing combinations that moves Leon. Wow. Bilal's takedown selection was beautiful. That's very true. That's why he reminded me of Michael Chandler, is that he didn't even need to shoot on Leon like in the center of the cage. Like all he had to do was just lean up against him, and he had him. He has really good strength. French Montana did his thing. Looked better than I thought. That's true. Couldn't even call him by his name, which I don't remember, by the way. He did what Khabib did against Conor, going toe-to-toe. Yeah, that's true. And he rocked him quite a few. He did way better than Khabib. He was way better on the feet than Khabib was. It was a combination of wrestling and striking. Whoever knew French Montana would dethrone the headshot dead guy. JL did. JL knew that would happen, and then Sean did as well. So we should have seen it coming. I think. We don't really value Bilal that much before this fight, and we had every reason to. That spike was wild. Did that on purpose. Yeah, and he was mad at Leon, dude, and I can understand why. Prior performances do not predict future outcomes. Sometimes they do. Bilal showed skills we'd never seen before. Love it. 34-year-old fighter coming into his own on the main stage. Yeah. All right. Anyway, yeah, Khabib gave him a good game plan. Yeah, the Dagestanis really helped out Bilal Muhammad. They always believed in him this entire time. They never talked about him behind his back.
Do any of these stats interest you at all?
JL doesn't know anything. It was a lucky pick by him. Well, I get it's like Kanye West when he won that Grammy. I guess
I'm surprised he's not in here on a victory tour.
Yeah, I think once Activate A freaking timed him out for 10 minutes, I think his humility increased a little bit.
I mean, look at these striking stats. These are interesting to me. A 192 landed to 89 from.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Significant strikes were a little more even. But really, I think this is a bigger story of the fight that leads into another part of it is, look, Leon, 32 to the head, 12 to the body, 3 to the legs. Bilal headhunting, 59 strikes to the head and 9 to the body. And that's what set up this 9 takedowns out of 13 landed and 12 minutes of control time. I mean, really, I think that's the story of the fight right there. ESPN
did report, according to AJ, that Khabib gave him a game plan before the fight regarding the grappling and his approach to take. So, I mean, if anyone should give you a game plan, it should be Khabib or Islam. But I want to give way more credit to Bilal Muhammad because he had the pieces to put this together. Like, he had the tools to get it done. And that's exactly what he did. This was domination.
Yeah, a few more things on the main event before we move into Rizin. I thought that Leon's coach just yelling at Leon, I do understand it worked one time. So, like, why wouldn't it work again? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Was kind of interesting to me. You gotta finish him this round, Rocky. But at that point, what the fuck are you gonna say? The guy's better than your fighter just about everywhere.
Yeah.
And another thing too was and AJ had discussed it. AJ and I had discussed it last night. Which, by the way, shout out to AJ. Me and him stayed up all night watching Rizin. Salute to you, my friend. We had a good time talking about Japan, and I think me and him gonna go do a Japan trip. Go watch New Year's Eve next year. Not this year, but next year. And let's do that stuff. My only gripe with Bilal, because I thought this was a great fight, actually.
Yeah.
Not great. Sorry. It was a good fight.
It's domination.
Especially on a terrible card. My only gripe with Bilal is if you're going to be on Twitter being so vocal about the conflict in the Middle East right now and obviously represent this country that's, being in a shitty spot, to say the least. Why wouldn't you mention that in the octagon post-fight interview? That kind of baffled me. I was really expecting for that.
That's so stupid, dude. Islam did it before he did. He's not from Palestine. And he still mentioned it. That's a little crazy. Because I was looking at it. He was just expressing how happy he was, and he was fucking crying. I was like, when's the part where he like slows down a bit and is speaking to the crowd? I didn't even hear him, and I was like, dude, he's not getting emotional or talking about Palestine. I could see it. He wasn't even talking about it.
And honestly, AJ and I discussed this, and we have a conspiracy theory going that maybe they told him not to, but in the post-fight press conference, last thing on the UFC for me is somebody was like, hey, somebody had taken Bilal Muhammad's Palestinian flag, and it was gone after the fight, and Dana White literally was like, I see what you're trying to do. That's bullshit. That never happened. None of my guys took down the flag. Screw you. And he walked out of the press conference. Hilarious.
That sounds like it had a little bit of truth to it. If he's coping over that.
So,
yeah. Something tells me they might have muffled him a little bit.
So the next event we're going to go over was Super Rizin. Hank the Tank and I both watched this entire contest. I fell asleep during a certain point, but stop me when we get to your lock.
Yeah.
So
Bilal is more American than Palestinian, says Matua. Look,
to me, there's nothing wrong with representing, what you stand for, but I just thought it was weird to not to be so vocal about it on Twitter and then not say anything in the cage when you have the biggest platform to say something.
Yeah, anyway. Unless he was muffled.
We're on to Rizin now. So Majima versus Ni. This guy's name is Ni. Ended in rear naked choke in round 2. Then we got into the bare knuckle. Well, actually, this is actually a little bit out of order.
Well, that was a domination on the ground from the guy who won.
The next fight was actually Yaman versus this, what was it, a 4-3 MMA fighter. Yaman, if you don't know, is a fantastic kickboxer, former Rise champ. Was nice to see him just clean this dude up in one round, and he was a vicious knockout too that he hit him with. Rocked him with the left and just face planted him with the right. Brutal knockout, awesome win for Yaman, who's clearly trying to get his MMA career going. The next fight was Ty Emery knocking out this random woman, which I said she would.
Yeah.
But I was pretty upset with Ty Emery after she had broken the nose of Miss Sagala. Did not flash the crowd.
Yeah, such a shame.
Come on. That's your thing. That's your thing.
Rizin probably stopped her from doing that.
I bet she was actually very respectful. Another one of my picks for this fight was Rena getting the
Here
win.
we are. This is my lock.
Getting win over Kate Lotus.
Mhm.
Oyagama. Obviously not her real last name. But yeah, I didn't expect the fight was close in the first round. I actually was really surprised. Kate was holding her own, maybe even might have won the first round.
I think she did.
Rena, holy crap, dude. She beat this girl so bad.
Yeah.
Got her into the corner. She looked like freaking Tekeru in there. In Rise, man. She hit her with like 10 punch combinations up against the ropes, because not the cage here.
Her Muay Thai was nasty.
Oh my gosh, dude, her boxing too. Once she had Kate just like a wounded animal up against the ropes, I was shocked the ref didn't stop it sooner. She beat the hell out of this girl. Yeah, talk to me.
It was incredible. I watched the last like 20 seconds of the fight. I was out on a walk because I had just stood in a chair watching MMA for like 7 hours. But I was looking at the highlights in the meantime, and yeah, Lotus definitely won round one. She just had the nicer striking, and she was able to get her combinations off. But then once Rena found the fucking corner, dude, she was like, it was barn on fucking fire, dude. It was like 10 punch combinations, hitting her with body shots, knees to the head. Like, she just fucking brutalized her. And what's crazy is that after this fight was over, Rena looked worse off than Kate somehow. Like, her face was like fully fucking puffed up. Like, she just had a fucking bee sting her fucking face. While Kate was like, her face was like fucking fine, but she like took the fucking brain damage, obviously. So Rena, dude, once she's against the corner, man, she's like got that Ilya Tapuria fucking frenzy.
Tapuria.
Yeah, but it was brutal. Like, just constant combinations, incredible speed, and yeah, she was just finding a place to hit Kate basically every second. So that was fucking crazy. Speedball level shit.
Fuck. It was a beatdown, and by this point in the card, this card was just fucking amazing. It was so awesome. The action was flying. I was feeling good.
Still had to tell Isha that it was trash, just as a little bit of a prank.
Oh yeah. I trolled the shit out of Isha. I was like, bro, this card sucked. And he was like, what? You're not enjoying the card? Like, he was like genuinely concerned and
bewildered. What the heck?
And it was hilarious to see him just like, and I was like, nah, I'm just messing with you.
This is the greatest Rizin card ever.
And Juice Man says Matua wants to smash Reyna. I mean, who doesn't, right? She's a cutie, whatever.
I'll wreck her shit, Matua.
The next fight, I think this is out of order, but the next fight was John Dodson defeating Takaki Soya. This was a damn good fight.
It was.
Soya was kind of holding his own in there. I thought he was actually going to win. I thought my lock was going to, or my pick was going to go up in smoke. But then at some point, John Dodson had knocked Takaki down. And then shortly after, I think this was the third round, shortly after he had rocked Dodson and even dropped him. So it was like an even round.
Yeah.
By the fourth and fifth, though, I think Dodson had dropped Takaki 3 times in 2 rounds. Pretty obvious how that fight was going to go. Dodson, man, shit, dude, he's not looking like the Dodson of old. This was a great performance, don't get me wrong, but struggling against some random Japanese dude in a bare knuckle boxing match, not the best look. He got the win. He moves on. His brother and wife were there cornering him, so always nice to see the Crazy Turtle, as they promoted him. Which, by the way,
what a great nickname.
Rizin promos are undefeated. They're the best thing ever. Michael Chavello, even at one point in the card, was like, every single walkout in this event has been better than the opening ceremony of the Olympics. Shout out to Chavello, the man.
That was based.
But yeah, man, I mean, what were your thoughts on Dodson's performance?
Yeah, it was pretty disappointing. Even though he won, I told Isha, because I was there for his fight companion on the City Life project, and I even attended. I even put on me nerd glasses at one point. But I was telling him, dude, he had a draw on his last fight to someone he really shouldn't have had a draw with. And then the last fight he lost, and he just doesn't look the same. He looks slower. His technique is.
He's like 40.
Sloppy. Yeah, he's 40 years old. He's just getting old. And I told him, like, don't be surprised if he loses this, or don't be surprised if this goes to a fucking draw or something. And for a little while that was starting to come true, because they were both knocking each other down. Dodson was getting slow. Soya was hitting him with some really good strikes, but Dodson has that power. And when Dodson rushes forward and he can land clean on the chin, you're going to go down. So Dodson had the power and it landed. I think he knocked down Soya twice in like the 4th round or something. And that definitively swayed the fight towards Dodson's favor. All he had to do was survive that 5th round. That's exactly what he did. And yeah, he won, but this is not a good sign for him going into the future. I think he's going to lose that BKFC title, if I'm being honest with you.
Oh yeah, 100%. Next fight, man. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
this was one for the ages, man.
Yeah.
And Ashizawa defeating Kozi. I thought it was 1-1 heading into the 3rd round. And at no point was this truly an MMA fight. This was more a kickboxing match, which, by the way, Kozi's last kickboxing fight was a loss to Ashizawa.
Yep.
And oh my gosh, dude, these guys. The first round was a little more like Ashizawa just kind of cruising, and Kozi trying to catch him. By the 2nd round, he had found him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, did he find him? If you have not seen this fight, guys, please try to find it on the internet, because this is like fight of the year in my opinion in MMA, hands down. Between two kickboxers, nonetheless.
Yeah.
But yeah, both men battered each other, beat the hell out of each other. The 3rd round was back and forth.
I heard this from Isha or from somebody in his comment section. This should have been last man standing. This should have been 5 whole rounds of action, like 2 extra rounds for this.
Sure.
Like, that would have been fucking insanity.
It was insane. The 3rd round was back and forth. Kozi was up. Ashizawa was up. But then Ashizawa had hurt Kozi pretty bad. And Kozi was not looking good because he tried to switch it up and grapple with Ashizawa.
Yeah, didn't work.
Which was a very bad decision because it made him tired. And that's when Ashizawa started beating the hell out of him. Just out-scrapped him to win that 3rd round.
Yeah.
Ashizawa gave mad props to Kozi at the end of the fight because, listen, guys, Kozi, he's the only man to fight both Tenshin and Takeru in a kickboxing match. Took them both to decision. He even fought Yaman and Genji. So, like, dude, this guy, he's fought everybody that of note in Japanese kickboxing. Lost to all the biggest names, but this guy's a legend, dude. And he's I really wanted him to win. He did not. He looked amazing. You can't say that he didn't fight his heart out. Credit to Ashizawa.
Yeah. This was a fantastic fight. Like, both guys are just fucking dogs, dude. Like, they're just hitting each other with huge shots, dude, that I thought were going to fucking take each other's faces off. And they just immediately just kept striking afterwards. Like, these guys have fucking chins, dude. Like, they both went down at certain points, and they just would refuse to get finished and got right back up. Like, there was hardly any grappling, which is for the best, in my opinion, for my own mental health. And they were just swinging, dude. Like, it was nothing but, like, all action back and forth in the pocket, fucking take each other's heads off for 15 whole minutes. What a fucking fight, dude. I was amazed. This is probably going to be fight of the year. I don't think a lot of ones are going to top this.
in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's in Rizin too, which is just the cherry on top.
So the next fight was Hideo Tokoro defeating Hiroya Kondo, who has a terrible record, by the way. Hideo Tokoro, I did not know this because, again, I only started watching MMA in 2019. Hideo Tokoro took Royce Gracie to a draw back in the day.
Wow.
He beat Hoyler Gracie. He beat Brad Pickett.
Wow, new Gracie killer. Holy crap.
Lost to guys like pretty much anybody who's a name in Japanese MMA and really and beyond, in the later years, or the earlier years. He's been fighting since 2000. 24 fucking years this guy's been fighting. And he was coming in here on a terrible, terrible record. Like 50-50 fighter, really. Fighting this really young kid. He finished him. He hit him with an elbow, knocked him down. Kind of damn near almost knocked him out with the elbow. He then hopped on him. I think that really him hitting his head on the canvas woke him back up. Then he ground and pounded him to a finish. Dude, how could you not feel good for Tokoro? Legend of the sport. This is the 61st fight, sixth knockout in his career. I mean, I think he retired after the fight, which he should have. And I found out that his wife had her last treatment of chemo, and she's going through breast cancer. Look, dude, you can't fight a guy. You cannot fight a guy if his wife or his mother is going through some shit.
Yeah.
He's gonna whoop your ass.
He's gonna find that fucking animal in him, and he's gonna let it fucking go to win that fight if his life fucking depends on it.
Exactly.
What a fucking way to win from Tokoro. It was like the Imanari moment of the fight of the card where you're just like happy. You're just happy that the veteran won. So I just had a smile on my face the entire time. I really wanted him to win. Also, he had the nickname Little Volk. So how the fuck can I not root for this guy when he's got Volk as his nickname? So he hit a perfect right hand, sent that kid right down to the mat, fucking ground and pounded him out. Beautiful, beautiful. Didn't take too much damage either. That was the perfect way to retire. I love it when shit like this happens.
It's funny, on Rush Hour, we're like, oh, that's cool. And then I hop over to City Life, and all you fucking MMA nerds are just like crying over Hideo Tokoro getting a win. Oh my God, legendary. I'm crying. It's like, geez, come on, guys.
I wasn't crying.
I know, but a lot of MMA nerds are crying over that.
Well, it's Rizin, so you're going to get some crying.
Sure. Yeah, but usually it's from the fighters, not the fans.
We're weeaboos too.
We then had a very long, extended intermission, in which Saki Kabara had pushed a scam Rizin credit card, which would be sick to have, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, get the Rizin credit card, then cancel it immediately. But and then we then had Chihiro Suzuki, their champ. Hank's over there doing some calisthenics, I see. But yeah, their champ had called out Pitbull, which was interesting. And then they were like pushing some other random event. I was really upset with Rizin at this point because, one, why didn't Ryan Garcia come out and get on the mic? Okay, Floyd was rumored to be there, which I did not see him. I don't think he was there. And yeah, this is weird. Take that off the screen. But Floyd was rumored to be there. Did not see him. Conor McGregor was rumored to be there. Didn't see him. Dude, bring out all these freaking guys in the intermission and just have them talk some shit. Cut a promo. Like, who cares?
Yeah, have some exciting stuff. I mean, there was a great segment with Sakuraba and his kid when he introduced.
That was annoying as hell.
Okay, didn't annoy me. We were having fun watching.
I know. A bunch of JMMA nerds on City Life were just like, oh, wow. But I'm like, dude, this is like 4 a.m. Let's get the next fight out. I don't want to see Sakuraba. Like, you could have announced that at any time or even during the intermission.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. You could have had that on the intermission.
100%. Yeah, it's like
Ryan in there as well.
Jeez, guys. Anyway, yeah, Sakuraba's kid is going to fight on the next New Year's Eve, actually. We then had a grudge match of sorts. Hiramosa Agikubo versus Shinru. I picked Shinru to win this one. That was completely wrong. He looked good in the first round. But anyway, the interesting conflict of this fight was that, and this is when I knew I was watching Japanese MMA at 4 a.m. Shinru, former student of Hiramosa Agikubo, they had a falling out because, well, Hiramosa tried to make Shinru scrub toilets at the gym, and he refused to do so. Said, no, I'm not doing that shit. So, yeah, this is what their whole beef was over, was toilet cleaning. So, yeah, Shinru looked good in the first round. He just kind of won easy. By the second and third, Hiramosa had been the guy landing the better strikes and just kind of controlling the action. So he got the win. This fight was pretty bad, I thought. Finally, we got a bad fight in an amazing card this had been up to this point.
Yeah. Although I do think they had their little grudge moments throughout the fight, which at least made it sort of palatable. Like, oh, what are they going to do between the rounds? What are they going to do afterwards? And they never shook each other's hands. They never had any respect for each other before, during, and after. So, and there was a cool little walkout. Yeah, fuck you, I'm out of here. So, I mean, that at least added some energy to the thing. But in terms of the actual action, there was pretty much nothing.
Yeah, it was like Mokaya versus Manel Kape.
I was gonna say it was the it was the Makai versus Cap of Rizin for
100%. Our next fight was Yuta Kubo versus Yutaka Saito. Kubo, again, another kickboxer fighting a former Rizin champ. This fight was pretty slow. Did end in knockout in round 2, thankfully. But I thought it was pretty slow. And this is what happens when you match a grappler up or like an MMA fighter up with a former kickboxer, right? The most interesting part of this contest, I thought, was Yuta's walkout, in which he had his ex-wife singing the song. She was more just screaming incessantly into the mic. She's totally insane. Don't know why his ex-wife is still hanging around. She's definitely a crazy person, but I bet she's good in the sack. So
for sure, yeah. Well, you know they got that sex energy afterwards. You know, it's like wow.
They knew they were banging like crazy after this one.
Yeah. But wasn't his girlfriend in the seats as well?
It was his ex-wife.
It was his ex-wife in the seats. Well, yeah. But yeah, Kubo beat up Saito, got the KO, and then he did a post-fight promo that apparently went pretty well because I think the Rizin promoter Saka, what's his name again?
Nobuhiko Sakikibara.
Sakikibara was smiling, hearing his post-fight promo, which you want to get from the promoter. And so it looks like Kubo, he's sort of young in the game, but no, he's not. He's 36 years old in terms of like actual Rizin, but he's in the good graces of the promoter. So that's good for fucking Kubo, man. I also said like in the chat, he sort of looks like fucking Joker and like as like a cartoon Joker in the 1970s with that face.
I thought he was a very strange looking man.
He is, for sure. He looks weird with a mouth guard in his mouth. His shape is just so weird, dude. Like, he's lucky he's getting any action, I'll be honest with you.
Maybe that's why he's got his ex-wife hanging around. Then there was this fight. Manny Pacquiao fighting Onpo, former K1 champ. This point I had fallen asleep. I watched both walkouts. I watched them get announced. I watched like 30 seconds of the first round. Then I was out, man. I woke up when the decision was read. I didn't even know who won, or I guess it ended in a draw. But, yeah, I went to sleep after this one, and I watched the main event later. So, yeah, Hank the Tank, tell us, how did Manny do?
Horribly. Atrociously. If this was a regular boxing match that went, like, even if it went 3 rounds, he would have lost. He would have lost that fight. He had a few shots. You know, he went to the body. He went to the head. But he was a little smaller than Onpo, and Onpo
quite a bit smaller.
Just had more energy than Manny, and he just had better combinations, more speed, and he was just beating up Manny over 3 rounds. What can I tell you? There was never a moment where, oh my God, he stumbled Ampo. If anyone was getting stumbled, it was Manny, like in every single round. It was fucking hard to watch as a Pac-Man Manny Pacquiao fan. It was more fun watching his entrance than it was watching him fight. That shit fucking depressed me. So really a fucking downer, in my opinion. He's lucky this is a draw and that's an exhibition match, but if I were Manny Pacquiao, I'd stop having these fucking matches. We already have money. Might as well just be a politician in the Philippines.
Does he, though? I think that's kind of my whole take is like, why are Floyd and Manny still doing exhibitions?
Do you think they owe people some money? Yeah, it's weird, man. He just needs to get out of the sport because if you're getting beaten up by this fucking scrub, Ompo, then I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he's a scrub, but I thought it was a weird fight to book. Like, why would you book a former kickboxing champion that's way bigger than Manny in a 3-round exhibition?
Well, here's the thing. What I heard from guys who were talking about the fight is that
JMMA nerds.
They've been trying to book the fight for Manny for quite a while now. It's been like a year. Like
should have been Buko.
They announced something with me. Yeah, exactly. But it just takes forever, and for some fucking reason, they just can't put a fight together. So this was the result. They were trying to do something to get him booked, and I guess this was the result. And it was fucking messy, and I fucking hated it. Never do something like this again.
Let's move on. Rene Ramoto knocking out Mikadru Asakura for the last man standing title. Knockoff BMF belt that looks cheap and isn't even shiny. I picked Mikadru to win this fight. I thought that it would be an MMA contest, which, to be fair, even though Ren is now the last man standing champion, he is still terrible at MMA. Guy has no ground game. This guy can fucking strike, though. And that was shown because he fucking knocked out Mikadru in one round. Hit him with a nice cross, went to the ground and pounded him out, beat the hell out of him.
We missed Garcia apparently, but who fucking cares?
Okay, what happened? Tell me what happened.
Garcia showed up, and then he was like, "Oh, I want to fight in Japan because they won't let me have a boxing match." Hey, somebody fight me, and then he wanted. This was the most cringe moment, dude.
Oh,
he was like fucking Sugar Sean O'Malley in his or Joaquin Buckley in his call out. Give me Manny Pacquiao. I'll beat your ass, Manny. And then he's like, "Oh, I'll beat you, Umpo." And then like some guy like showed up. Some like other Rizin star, and he's like, "Hey, you could fight each other, or you could fight me instead. Why don't you fight everybody? Hey!" And then it's like, I have no idea what happened afterwards.
You don't know who the guy was?
I forget his name.
Was it Ashizawa? Face tats?
I have no clue.
Okay, I'll have to go back and watch it. But yeah, that's
what they'll say. But
look,
yeah,
this whole thing.
He's gonna fight. I think he's gonna fight Ampo at the end of the day. I think
this whole thing was a fever dream. At one point, I was hallucinating, and I had thought that Shinru and Agikobo were two bottles of ketchup fighting each other. That's when I knew I should stop laying down and probably sit up.
Yeah, they definitely didn't put that mustard on each other. That's for sure.
No, but yeah, your thoughts on Mr. Ren Hiramoto? They're Rizin's most prized possession, I would say, at this point, beating Mikuru Asakura, former champ.
I am shocked that Asakura didn't look like he shot one takedown, and he probably should have because he's the grappler, and Hiramoto has rotten takedown defense, and he didn't even try it once. He just stood and banged on the feet. He swung like a moron, and
why is Japan are fixed? No, I'm just kidding.
And Ren caught him and completely put him out. Easy work. Just a bad game plan for Mikikura. If I were him, I would have shot fucking first thing. But that is not what he did, so he paid for it. And it was a fun first round finish to end Rizin. Very fitting for the promotion. So, hey, I'm not complaining. And if he's a prized possession for the company, good.
Yeah, 100%.
And Mikikura was on the way out either way. So it's good to put over.
Yeah, I mean, he's still young, but just his fighting style. He's just been mad wars. Dude's just a brawler. So,
yeah.
I guess in hindsight, I should have quit fading Ren, but I don't think Ren's gonna do great things. That's why they put a freaking stupid last man standing title on this fight.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Ryan Garcia should fight Ren, right?
That'd be fun. That'd be super fun.
Have him fight Ren in a boxing match. What are we doing?
Right. Do you think he'd do well in a boxing match against
Ren Hiramoto?
Yeah.
No, not really.
Maybe they should make it an MMA contest then. See what happens. Maybe Ryan gets knocked the fuck out.
I don't think Ryan will do that. As much as he likes to talk, I don't think that Ryan would do that. It would be fun, but I like Ren versus Ryan in some weird 3-round boxing match.
Yeah.
Or do the thing that Tenshin was doing. Give Ryan like three different Japanese guys, and he boxes them one round after the other. That'd be sick. Can you imagine Ryan knocks out 3 different random Japanese dudes in a different round?
That'd be so much fun.
That'd be sick.
I'm strong. Oh.
They've already done that with Tenshin, but yeah, I don't know. That's weird. That whole Ryan thing sounds weird. I have to go back and watch that.
Yeah. But really solid weekend of fights overall. Loved Super Rizin 3. UFC 304 has absolutely abysmal prelims, but the early prelims and the main card both delivered, in my opinion.
Last 3 fights in the main card.
It's like a shit sandwich with really good bread,
Yeah. KC was interesting. K1 was amazing. I have to go back and watch 1. I probably won't.
Yeah.
Before I did our breakdown show. But I heard 1 was still the best show of the weekend, which is fucking crazy that they're able to just do that every Friday with random
get rid of the MMA. Get rid of the MMA. You're the best show on TV for the weekend.
But anyway, that's the weekend for you guys. I don't really have anything else to say. What about you, man?
I'm looking forward to Sandhagen versus Nurmagomedov. It is somehow a more stacked card than UFC 304. I will say it is from top to bottom. It is, in my opinion. That's going to be really fun to watch. They always sell out to the Saudis, and they always give them the best fights. Oh no! It's way better than the Sphere, is what I was.
Yeah, this isn't in Saudi Arabia though. It's in Abu Dhabi, right?
Yeah, it's in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, so the Saudis aren't Abu Dhabi,
but it's still the Middle East. It's still your oil daddies. So, it's going to be fun. It's stacked from head to toe. Better than the Sphere card, which was supposed to be the biggest, greatest card of all time, and it has nothing but fucking rookies who have had 2 fights in the UFC.
Wait, Dana lied? He never does that.
What? What are you talking about? I'm an MMA fan, just like you. I never stooped to that.
I mean, to be fair to the Sphere card, those top 3 fights are bangers, but outside of that, it's kind of like what?
Yeah. So anyway, it's just weird but we're going to keep having stacked cards in the Middle East. But hey, I mean, that's fun as a fight fan. But in terms of like geopolitical, global politics, yeah, it's just part of a larger trend that's been happening for years.
It's a separate issue.
And I'm going to mention that I am going to be doing something else. I'm going to be watching something else on Saturday. I'm having a friend over, so we're going to be just hanging out and enjoying our day. I'm still going to be available for the recap and the preview for Sandhagen versus Nurmagomedov. But yeah, I'm going to take a little bit of a break on Saturday, just to let you guys know.
Yeah, so no fight companion from Tank on Saturday, I'm guessing.
No, but do you want to still do a post-fight show for it?
Yeah, I probably will. There's no Super Rizin, so thankfully I can
Sounds
do a post show.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Sean, you can show up for the post-fight show. I saw you commented that you wanted to join us, but we do that save that for the post-fight show. So next Saturday is when you'll be available for that Leprechaun.
And I think we're going to be doing a live chat this week.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to do one myself. We got other things. Let us know if you guys want to see another settling the score, like what fight you would want to see. We're, like I said, man, we're ramping up the content. We're giving you guys a lot of shit. I mean, we went almost 2.5 hours today. So on that note, I think it's time for Hank the Tank's outro.
You have escaped the war zone for now, but I'm coming for you, Manny Pacquiao.